remember when you had to work hard for your fun? But now that times have changed, you owe yourself a snapper riding mower. It cuts your lawn faster and easier. You still have to finish the lawn before you can have any fun, but with a snapper, the fun gets here faster and easier.
Check the yellow pages for the snapper dealer nearest you. Channel 2, New York.
Boston moved up 2-0. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger. A little bit of a change this afternoon. I want to take you inside the Buffalo Braves locker room, right in front of Bob McAdoo's locker right here next to Dale Schluter. He's even caught up on the Citizens Band radio. If you've got one out there, maybe I can talk to you a little bit later this afternoon. But, of course, this is a very serious moment for Buffalo as they hope to win the playoffs. And just a few moments ago, Jack Ramsey made the following points to his Braves. They must keep Silas and Cowens off the offensive board. In other words, Buffalo must control the defensive board this afternoon. They must get back on defense, and they have to take away the small forward, those replacements for the injured John Havlicek. Let me show you something over here on the blackboard. These are the plays that Ramsey was diagramming for the Braves. You've seen them many times on CBS. The rub off the post. The postman, of course, is Dave Cowens, who comes out. Nelson comes out and takes his favorite shot, the backdoor play. Now, that works so well when John Havlicek is in the lineup as the Celtics need an easy basket. This is a play that the Braves will have to defend against. They have a very interesting tool inside the locker room. They have a videotape machine, and they record all the games back here in Buffalo. And let me show you some of the action from Friday night, because the Buffalo team has been reviewing and taking a look at some of its mistakes. And Jack Ramsey was pointing out to me in this play what they have to be so careful of. This, of course, the Celtics on the attack. They'll come away with a miss, but look who's got the rebound. Big Paul Silas, and there, of course, Don Nelson from the corner. So those are some of the things we'll be seeing here today in the Memorial Auditorium. Mindy Rudolph and Sonny Hill will be right back from courtside. They'll have reports on the two teams as the NBA Today on CBS continues in just a moment.
You are beautiful. Come on, pal, I'll buy you a beer.
2 Old Milwaukee. That's my beer.
Win or lose, you can always count on the great taste of Old Milwaukee. It's named after the city that means beer. And it lives up to the Milwaukee tradition because Old Milwaukee beer tastes as great as its name.
Let's talk about next week.
Old Milwaukee beer tastes as great as its name.
Commercial credit might lend millions to get a factory running.
Well, Sunday's the big day.
Thousands to help a smaller business grow. But as much as commercial credit lends to business, they lend even more to help people. To make a father proud.
Congratulations, honey.
Make someone's life a little fuller. When you need a personal loan, commercial credit will find ways to help you.
I'm Mindy Rudolph, and of course, the big Boston story is the absence of John Havlicek. John Havlicek did not play Friday night, and he will not play today. In fact, he's not even dressed. Now, in his place Friday night, Tommy Heinsohn started Don Nelson, who had a super game. Tommy Heinsohn will start Don Nelson today. Now, together with Don Nelson and Steve Kaversky, the two of them combined scored 34 points, which is a tremendous job that Heinsohn pulled off with Nelson and with Kaversky. Now, in speaking to Tommy Heinsohn before the game, there is no way that he concedes anything to Buffalo today. He wants his team to execute everything that they've done so well during the entire season. He wants Cowens and Silas to do their job on the offensive boards. He expects JoJo White to push the ball up court. Now, we'll see what happens with the Boston strategy as I turn to Sonny Hill with the Buffalo story.
I was at the ball game in Buffalo on Friday, and some of the things that stood out in my mind in reference to the Buffalo Braves that will help them today is John Shumet's going to have to do a better job on Dave Cowens. Keep him from coming across the middle with the jump hook or a turn-in shot. They're going to have to do a better job of rebounding, and that's Shumate again, and also Bob McAdoo, who only had 8 rebounds in that ball game. Ernie D played in that ball game, and he moved the ball very well. In fact, when he was on the floor, that's when the Buffalo Braves made their move. And that's the kind of play that they're going to have in today's ball game. And when you talk about key player for the Braves, it's always Jim McMillan. The reason is when he's included in their offense, they are a victorious team. And he was not included in that offense enough on Friday. So in today's ball game, if he's included, I look for a Brave victory. Now, let's go to Brent Musburger.
Thank you very much, Sonny and Mendy. And there you are. We have heard the stories of both of these teams as we come to Game 3. Now, let us meet the starting lineups for this afternoon's game. For the Boston Celtics, Coach Tommy Heinsohn. Starting at 1 forward, number 19, Don Nelson. In his 14th year out of Iowa. At the other starting forward this afternoon, number 35, Paul Silas. At guard for the Celtics, number 11, Charlie Scott. At the other guard, number 10, in his 7th year, JoJo White. At center for the Celtics, number 18, Dave Cowens. Now, here are your Buffalo Braves. Head coach is Jack Ramsey. Starting at 1 forward, number 5, Captain Jimmy McMillan. At the other forward, number 34, John Shumate. At one guard, number 9, an all-star this year, Randy Smith. At the other guard, number 14 out of Fordham, Kenny Charles. And the NBA's scoring leader for the 3rd straight year, number 11, Bob McAdoo.
We're dropping a Dayton radio, show you how rugged a Dayton tire can be.
Demonstrations are okay, but you need to know me, your Dayton tire dealer. I'm a pro. You'll get a good deal on the Dayton tire that's right for the way you treat tires, not some guy in a helicopter. So drop in. Yeah, drop in at your nearby Dayton Tire Center and see your Dayton Tire Pro.
Your Dayton Tire Pro, he's the guy to know.
Tough, huh? For a job like this, you need the Rockwell 7 1/4-inch circular saw. Notice the telescoping blade guard. The calibrated base plate lets you miter with accuracy. Paneling, siding. This 9-amp motor cuts the biggest job down the side. The Rockwell 7 1/4-inch circular saw. Plug it in, and you're Sawman.
The NBA playoffs on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. A former mobster fears for his life. That story and more on 60 Minutes tonight at 7, 6 Central on CBS.
Don Rickles versus National Car Rental.
Sir? You can't take this car.
I rented it. What'd you do, hide the engine?
This is your Chevy Malibu. This one just came back. It can't be rented until I inspect it.
Come on. You'd rent me a camel if I take it.
No car leaves this lot until I check out every item on this list.
Give some guys a pen, and they go bananas.
National's Maintenance Checklist. It certifies the condition of your car in writing.
Alexander Sportswear is a dynamite buy. How lucky can you get?
Such a lot to choose from, it bewilders a guy. How lucky can you get?
I'm styled by Alexander's from my head to my toes.
We need a new suitcase to carry her clothes.
When we leave Alexander's,
almost everything goes. Wow! How lucky can you get?
Channel 2, New York.
Give it all you got, take your very best shot, and may the best team win. The time is now, the name of the game is action. They're on the floor and they're ready to score, so let the game begin. And let's see how the ball's gonna bounce today. Welcome to NBA, come on and join the rest of the crowd. There's a line.
The NBA playoffs on CBS are sponsored by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less, and by Polaroid, the inventors of the SX70 system, and pictures that develop before your eyes.
See the best in basketball on CBS. When you watch the NBA.
It's Brent Musburger with Mindy Rudolph and Sonny Hill from the Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. And, Mindy, what an afternoon of NBA basketball on CBS. You'll watch now Boston against Buffalo, and then later they'll have the Phoenix-Seattle game coming up.
Quite a doubleheader.
So you stick right with us here this afternoon. In Buffalo, the weather is miserable. I hope it's a little bit nicer where you are this afternoon, but not nice enough to have you go outside. The Celtics control the tap. They'll have it to start the fourth quarter. Cowens blocked by McAdoo.
The Big Mac is up. I'll tell you, he got back on Cowens like I've never seen him do it. Watch this block. Just a magnificent timing and out of bounds.
That's the kind of game, Mindy, we expect Buffalo to turn in here. Inbounds play. Cowens yells break. They go deep to number 19, Nelson. Number 10 is JoJo White. He's working in the backcourt with Charlie Scott. Silas out way away from the basket, and McAdoo is taking him. So that means that Shoemate is watching Cowens. Shoemate told me before the game, Mindy, he's going to try to overplay Cowens in the early going. Good defense. Shot clock goes down. JoJo limbs one in and out. Randy White puts it on the floor for the Braves. Up court quickly to Kenny Charles. Here's Smith again, number 9. He'll set up the Buffalo attack. Both these teams love to run if they can get it going. Now the Braves must come back on defense, which means execute better on offense. From the corner, Smith. Cowens hits the board. So the Celtics control and bring down the first rebound at the Buffalo end. Here's Dave Cowens, and Kenny Charles has it. It's 2-0. This should be easy. It's 2-0. Nelson back for the Celtics. Jimmy McMillan, the captain of the Braves, on him. Off to JoJo White. John Havlicek, Mindy, in civilian clothes, I see, over there on the Celtic bench. Cowens gives it off to JoJo White.
Setting up the screen. JoJo White. Now that's a job that Randy Smith and Kenny Charles are going to have to do, because JoJo White will run off screens all afternoon. They've got to pick him up as high as they possibly can.
Shoemate started his move, but the whistle stopped play. And Charlie Scott has picked up a foul. There's John Havlicek talking to John Killalay. He's diagramming a play, taking some notes on his pad. McAdoo took the inbounds pass from Charles. Charlie Scott picks up McAdoo. And there's an offensive foul called by Joe Gashu, who's working this game along with Jake O'Donnell.
If that's one problem, Brent, that McAdoo has, is when he decides to go to the basket and he gets double teamed or he gets a switch off, it's very seldom that he will pass the ball off to a teammate who will be open.
Mindy, he can play for me with that problem.
You're right.
Here is Cowens giving off to Nelson. Charles was on him. No basket. He was fouled by Charles as he began his move toward the basket.
Let's pick this up. As Cowens comes across, he will hand the ball off to Nelson, and Kenny Charles, with a little bit of a hands on the hip, which indicates that the officials will keep this game open in the early going.
Cowan's outside. The battle for the boards is won by Silas. There is that second chance. And a misfire by Scott. Braves come back. Charles with control of it for Buffalo right now. JoJo White is watching him. They're strong to the right side. Charles goes over to the weak side with Shoemate. Here's McAdoo, and Silas will watch him at that end also. Bounce pass into McMillan, who took a little short baseline jumper. And Scott hit the boards for the Celtics. So again, I do not see Buffalo as of yet exerting itself on the boards. Underhand shot, a beautiful layup by JoJo.
Now McMillan has a little speed advantage over Nelson, but of course Nelson has a little bit of a height advantage, was put the hand on the ball on that last shot. They got to get Jimmy McMillan into the flow of the Buffalo offense.
Boston leading by a field goal. Smith charged into his man. That's his first and the second offensive foul against Buffalo in the early going.
The cheerleaders are not too happy with that call, as some of the fans, Brent.
This crowd in Buffalo, Mendy, is capable of coming alive, but the Buffalo defense will have to do better than that. They let Scott in for an easy layup.
A beautiful give and go off of Nelson.
So it's 6-2. Celtics go ahead. 8 minutes and 55 seconds left in the first quarter. Contact underneath. Silas and McAdoo were pushing and shoving. And Silas fouled him.
Boston, Brent, will play with a lot of hands, as we spoke about earlier, and they will test the officials in a lot of ball games. They'll get away with as much as they can until the officials start blowing the whistle. And it's very important that you keep this Buffalo team hands off, because they're a finesse ball club.
Charles goes into McAdoo, comes up over Silas and hits it. Buffalo pulls to within 2. Cross court, Charles anticipated, could not control the ball, knocked it out of bounds. Got to make room there for the minicam next to you there, Mendy. Rudolph, he wants to get some good pictures out of here.
On my right and in my pocket.
Here's Silas. Cowens, Shoemate with a hand on him. They go to the corner, and Charlie Scott wants it. And Randy Smith brings it down quickly for Buffalo. They try to take it on the move. Charles to the hoop, gets inside with a pretty move.
And Randy Smith made that possible. He boxed Don Nelson right out the baseline. They're not going to allow Boston to offensive rebound if they can help it.
Nelson with a miss. McAdoo pulls it down. That was a fine pass by Silas that time. McAdoo off the front of the rim. Tied at 6. But again, Mendy, we don't see Buffalo getting a second chance down there. Contact underneath and a loose ball foul.
And of course, anytime they call a foul against Cowens in Buffalo, the fans just love it.
That's the third foul on the team side against the Celtics, and we have 7:40 to go in the first quarter. Game is tied. McMillan comes out just to the left of the top of the circle. Here is Charles. Got up in the air, missed, and Nelson is there. So the 14-year veteran pushed into the starting lineup. Did a magnificent job the other night with 22 points. Cowens with a miss. Neither team red hot so far, Mendy. Scott came over on Smith. And for Scott, that's his second personal. And as we have said so many times this season, Mendy, if Charlie Scott has a problem, it is, of course, the fact that he picks up so many fouls.
Well, speaking to Tommy Heinsohn before the game, Tommy Heinsohn assigned the best guard, the scoring guard, to Charlie Scott, and that's to his credit.
Last year, of course, they had Don Chaney, and this year it's Scott's responsibility. JoJo White was going to go to the hoop and then thought better of it. Cowens with a powerful move.
Not only a powerful move, but a very mobile move. Now, he saw McAdoo block off the lane, and he avoided him for the offensive foul, which is not an easy thing to do at his height and weight.
Here's Captain Jimmy McMillan. He's going to take it. He was patient, wasn't he? And Nelson rebounds for the Celtics. Overled Charles. White. Scott has it knocked away by McMillan, but the Celtics recover. Here's Scott, baseline drive layup. Wasn't that pretty?
Again, saved by Paul Silas. He has a nose for the ball. He seems to wind up exactly where the loose ball is or where the rebound comes from. Amazing player.
First game of an NBA doubleheader on CBS. Phoenix and Seattle coming up next. McMillan holding the ball for Buffalo. They trail by 2 field goals or 4 points right now with 6 minutes and 5 seconds. 3-second violation. Turnover. That was a violation, Mindy, that certainly was out high away from the basket. You don't see that.
What happened was Shoemate had his heel within the lane and didn't realize his position.
Yeah, could use a little help.
What's wrong, Charlie?
They can use the greaseless protein groomer. Protein 29.
Protein?
Well, hair is protein. Protein 29's got protein that's absorbed into the hair.
Oh, goes into my hair.
Right. So the protein formula makes hair easy to manage, helps it look fuller, thicker, and helps it to stay that way.
Oh, it looks great, honey.
Menon Protein 29. Liquid, gel, and sprays.
How does it feel like a Mustang too? How does it feel like a Mustang too? How does it feel like you're some kind of hero? Star Mustang too.
The Cobra strikes again with 4-cylinder standard and optional V6 or V8. Air dams 4 and spoilers aft. A thoroughbred Cobra and the ultimate cure for boredom.
Star Mustang too.
The closer they look, the better you look.
CBS Sports will televise tense playoff action with a game Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, followed on Sunday by an exciting playoff doubleheader beginning at 12:30 p.m. Eastern.
I expect to see the Lone Ranger come trotting out here in a minute.
Hi-ho, Silva!
Little William Tell overture to try to pick up the Buffalo Braves. You know, Mindy, a lot of our fans, I'm sure, watched the last game of the regular season between Boston and Washington, and they're wondering about Dave Cowan's injured left foot. Well, they put a support down there in the bottom of his tennis shoe, and they've tried to equalize his weight. Cowan says it felt fine in the first 2 games. Matter of fact, he went all the way in game 2, so it can't be bothering him that much. Inside to Silas, who comes back to Cowens. Ball movement goes to JoJo White. Shot clock, and there was traveling call. So they turn it over.
Now, Buffalo hasn't penetrated yet, Fred. They've got to move the ball inside, down low to McAdoo. Cause double-team situations and look for an open man. They cannot beat Boston with a jump shot.
And Mindy, Randy Smith hasn't scored yet either. Now, there's that jump shot you were talking about. McAdoo with a miss. Celtics sweep it off the board, and back they come. So, again, the Braves just have not gotten offensive board. Outside, Charlie Scott, the bomber.
He has tremendous range, and if you leave him open, he's not bashful. I'll tell you, he'll put him up.
Smith goes to Charles. Move it to McMillan. You can see what Mindy's talking about. It's so tough for the Braves to get inside. McAdoo is trying to muscle his way in, and he travels.
Now, McAdoo has done that in the 2 games that I saw, Wednesday and Friday, Brent. McAdoo has been called at least 3 and 4 times in each game with a traveling violation. Now, that's frustration. That's putting the ball to the floor and becoming double-teamed and not knowing what to do with it thereafter.
Nelson lets JoJo White go through. Now Scott goes with him. Now White pops back out. He's at the top of the circle. Celtics really have not had good ball movement here the last couple of minutes. Silas and Randy Smith goes to the board. 12-6. Buffalo trails. We've got 4 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the first quarter. Here's McAdoo. You can see where Silas is keeping him. Drills him. That's 2 field goals for McAdoo and a couple for Charles that no one else on Buffalo has scored yet. Silas.
I'll tell you, Paul Silas is just the epitome of a hustling, gutsy ball player.
Turnover on the interception. Here comes Scott. An easy basket. So the Braves were not back, and we go 16-8. And this is a critical game for Buffalo. The applause is for Ernie DiGregorio, who is getting up and will be checking into the game. Kenny Charles. Cowens rebound. They have dominated the boards in the early going. That certainly has been a key factor. Nelson runs into McAdoo, no doubt about that. Although Nelson is arguing. Let's take a look at that again, Mindy. I thought it was a charge.
No question on this play. You'll see McAdoo stand perfectly still. Good defensive position, and Nelson just slamming into the floor. Interesting thing about Ernie D, Brent, In the first game, Ramsey found himself down by 15 points and inserted Ernie D, and they brought it back to 4. In the second game, they were down by 13 points, and Ernie D brought him back to 2. So he's there offensively, but gives up something on the defense.
There was criticism of Ramsey in the paper as Shoemate knocks the ball away from Collins. The ball belongs to the Celtics, but that criticism this morning here in Buffalo was the fact that one writer thinks Ernie D should be starting for the Braves. He's defending against JoJo White right now, who goes to the corner and pushes one up.
Well, that's what I mean by defense. You see, when they have Ernie D in the game, they're going to take him down low and use the height advantage against him.
Did you see Scott take that ball away from Randy that time? Picked him clean. Couldn't hit the hoop, but great defense by Scott at the other end. Ernie D back quickly to McAdoo. Off the rim, Shoemate and McAdoo, and it goes to JoJo White. It's 18-10. Here comes the Celtics break. Over to Scott. Baseline left. McAdoo rebounds. He puts it down. It's 4-on-2. McAdoo goes all the way. In and out, won't stay. Ernie D was battling Scott.
Hey, take a look at Ernie D rebounding. I'll tell you, Charlie Scott has at least a 6 or 7 inch height advantage, and there Ernie D got a good position and rebounding to play with him, who will cause a jump ball.
And we got a timeout here, Mindy. 2:40 to go in the first.
When I played hockey, I really played hockey. They didn't call me Boom Boom for nothing. When I drink beer, I really drink beer. Light beer from Miller. It tastes great. And it's got a third less calories than the regular beer. It's less filling, and I can't get filled up. I've got to move fast. When you play the way I did, you make a lot of enemies.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Kawasaki lets the good times roll. Kawasaki lets the good times roll. Get aboard, get away, and you're gonna say, let the good times roll. Kawasaki lets the good times roll. Kawasaki lets the good times roll.
Next Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports Spectacular will present the thrilling World's Championship Demolition Derby from Islip, New York, and the exciting Men's World Cup Surfing Championships from Oahu, Hawaii. That's next Saturday at 4 p.m.
You think they're praying, or are they just checking the shot
Well,
clock
I checked with
there?
that one cheerleader, and I said, do you believe in miracles? And she said, no, Mr. Rudolph, I just rely on them.
But she believes in McAdoo.
She certainly does, and her Buffalo Braves.
Tommy Heinsohn sitting down, Celtic bench. Mindy, taking a look at the turnovers, Buffalo a little jittery. They've turned it over 6 times, and the Celtics only 3. Randy Smith, the leading rebounder. He has 4 rebounds, but so far he has not scored in this game. It's 18-10 right now. Boston ahead of Buffalo. 2:35 to go. And if you just joined us, stand by for still another NBA game. Coming up after this, Phoenix, Seattle. The Suns trying to wrap up that series. White gives it back to Scott. Top of the circle, Charlie bombs one. Kapersky was checked in the game, could not rebound. Jimmy McMillan controls, and off to Ernie D, who brings it down. Ernie D running the team right now. They're going to try to set up Randy Smith if they can to get some offense out of him. He was one of the top scorers in the league this year. Here's Randy. Not this time, and Kapersky goes to the boards. He has replaced Nelson. JoJo White back down in a hurry on the Braves. Over to Kapersky, who comes into the lane. That's the kind of fourth quarter he turned in, Mindy, you were telling me the other night.
Exactly. That's exactly what he did the fourth quarter. He did it again tonight. Now, that's Tommy Heinsohn using both Kapersky and Nelson beautifully.
We've got a 10-point lead by the Boston Celtics, who are on the road for the first time in this series after winning twice in the Garden. Ernie D with a miss. Silas is there. No second chances for the Braves.
Got to be a lid on that basket. The ball just will not fall for the Braves.
Just go outside. Got his arm as he came up, and that is the first foul on Ernie D. Quite a popular performer here in Buffalo, Ernie D. Gregorio. Mindy, next week, besides all our NBA action, we'll have Houston Open. Lee Trevino trying to win, I guess, for the first time down at Texas.
He has never won down there in Texas.
He should pretend he's a hustler again and go out there with a Coke bottle. What was that all that I used to read about him?
The Mad Mex should have a couple enchiladas.
It's 22-10, a 124, and the Celtics have dominated so far. I'm a bit surprised, Mindy. I thought Buffalo would come out smoking. Smith has Scott on him, gives off to Ernie D. Comes over to the right side and goes to Randy Smith. No doubt about who they want to shoot. And Smith connects.
Seems to me now, Brent, that Buffalo is not playing loosey-goosey. They're looking for, the pattern style of play, not gambling on their shots, if I may take that liberty to say so, and not playing the freewheeling style of basketball.
McAdoo just took it away from Silas, who got a little careless. Paul gets back on defense, and here's Smith again. Silas jumps off. So McAdoo's got Scott on him, and Bob wants it, and they don't get it to him. McMillan from the corner. Up over the top, out of play. Buffalo not alert on offense. You got to pick McAdoo up right now on that play. He wanted it. He was waving his arms. He had the mismatch inside. They just didn't get the ball to him. Now we come down now to the last 35 seconds of the first quarter. It's 22-12. Celtics will play off the clock. Scott. Here's Kaburski who will take it. His second field goal, man.
Steve Kaburski is having himself some playoff series, I'll tell you.
You realize that Buffalo cut him?
That's right.
It was the day before Thanksgiving. Celtics picked him up as a free agent, and that's a move that Red Auerbach has not regretted. In fact, he doesn't regret many. Here's McAdoo. Collins is there. Not much time. McMillan open. Won't go. And that pretty much symbolizes how things have gone here in the first quarter for the Buffalo Braves. They trail in this series 2-0. And at the end of one quarter, they have fallen back by 12 points.
You see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
Focus right here and press the button. Okay. Hey, let's look at the camera. That's it. Hold it. Let's get a nice smile.
Polaroid's Deluxe SX70 land camera. There's nothing like the kick of seeing your pictures develop in minutes before your eyes.
Wait.
With 3 SX70s to choose from and the new Little Pronto at $66, why don't you get one for yourself?
I want to take one.
We know America wants a better car. Easy to maneuver, carry 6 in comfort, easy on gas, and above all, style. Build that car.
We did it! Comfort, luxury, style. And the EPA ratings are 25 on the highway and 17 in the city.
Wonderful. You made a Cutlass Supreme.
Everyone would like to build a Cutlass Supreme. Get the original from Oldsmobile.
Enjoy the relaxing, massaging feel of pulsating water with new dial massage from Polonex. Now dial from 4 different shower heads to feel relaxed, invigorated, soothed, rejuvenated. Pulsating jets massage tired, aching muscles. A fine spray exhilarates. A coarse spray rinses thoroughly. The exclusive wide pulsator relaxes simple tensions. Dial the greatest feeling ever with dial massage by Polonex. Wall mount or handheld. Installs in minutes.
Mindy, in that first quarter, Buffalo hit only 30%, Boston 47%. Celtics killed them in the backcourt. 8 points for Scott and 8 for JoJo White. You can see it reflected right there on your screen. Collins held to 1 field goal. So the Braves bring it down, trailing 24-12. Mindy, you made a very interesting point at breakfast about the second quarter being the toughest for an official. Could you elaborate on that for me? Collins.
This is when the tempo of the game will change because the substitutes come off the bench, Brent. And the style of play that was taking place in the first 12 minutes changes slightly, as you will see possibly a turnover there by Kaburski. Now let's watch this Collins match up with McAdoo. Now there's no reason why McAdoo should miss this play. Absolutely none, other than tension. That's the only thing I can point my finger to at this point with Buffalo. They look awfully tight out there, Brent. They just got to loosen up and let the ball fly.
Mindy, Dick Gibbs is in the lineup. They are letting it fly, and it's coming in and out of them, too. So Ramsey Ramsey's gone to his bench a couple of times. Here's Collins at the top of the circle.
I'll tell you, if I was Buffalo right now, I'd change balls. I'd complain to one of the officials that there's something wrong with this basketball, man. Give me another one.
McAdoo has it knocked away. Look at that aggressive Celtic defense. Randy Smith picks it up. Now, that's not over and back because the Celtics had knocked it. There's McAdoo on the turnaround.
And McAdoo finally hits the field goal. I'll tell you, he has a frustrated look on his face.
They don't get back, and Collins burns them at the other end. So it equalizes the field goal by McAdoo. Ramsey unhappy, and so is this crowd here. It's 28-14, 10:32 to go in the first half. Cross-court Shoemake. Off the rim. Randy Smith with a second chance for Buffalo.
That's what they need. You mentioned earlier, Brent, about not getting a second chance, and they got it that time with Randy Smith on the offensive board.
JoJo White asked Jake O'Donnell for timeout. We stopped play down there with 10 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the first half. From the auditorium in Buffalo, it's 28-16 right now. Celtics on the lead.
When a man retires from football, the worst thing he can do is let himself slow down. That's why we all get together and try to stay active. And we drink light beer from Miller. We love the way it tastes. But the great thing is, it's actually less filling. Light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer. Heck, active guys like us wouldn't dream of getting filled up. Ready, guys? Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer.
And less.
How AMF made the weekend. One day, Monday came to AMF for help.
Can you help me? I'm feeling very blue.
What's the matter?
Nobody likes me.
Why not?
Lousy, rotten day. Lousy, rotten I'm the first day of another work week. They're all grumpy and mad.
I tell you what. Let's put 2 days of recreation in front of you. We'll call it a weekend. We'll make them bikes to ride, and boats to sail, and balls to bounce and bowl, to recreate, exhilarate, let their other half live.
AMF. We make Ben Hogan golf equipment, Sunfish sailboats, Voight balls, Hatteras yachts. We make weekends. And since AMF has been making weekends, Monday's been a happier day.
Thank you.
And for the Demolition Derby, Mindy, I am nominating you as one of the drivers. Folks, our taxi broke down this morning coming to the ballpark. The cab driver and Mindy got it started, and Mindy wound up driving the taxi cab in Buffalo. And, folks, he went the wrong way on a one-way street.
I drove the cab all the way to the auditorium. The right door went open, the trunk went open, the car went started. I said, give me that darn thing and let me handle it. I put Musburger in the back seat. And that's the only time he'll probably ever take a back seat to me is when he's in the back of a cab. But I handled that thing pretty good, didn't I?
You are some driver. Here's Ernie Dean for Buffalo. Down 28-16. Gibbs maintains control. Off to Ernie Dean from the corner deep. Oh, he hits it. That'll pick the crowd up. They pull back to within 10.
Listen, when I was going down that one-way street and the policeman stopped us, he asked me, he said, where do you think you're going? And I said to him, it doesn't make much difference because everybody seems to be coming back.
Off the rim, and down comes Randy White. On the attack, the Buffalo Braves. Now they can pull it with an 8. McAdoo can't stay there. And back come the Celtics. Glenn McDonald is in the game. Number 30 gives it off to JoJo White. White waits for Collins in the corner to Kaversky. Over McAdoo. Hey, that's Steve Kaversky shooting.
I'd like to check what he had for breakfast the last 3-4 days.
Well, he is on some tear. He's not supposed to be a scorer. Look at him, anticipating on defense, harassing Shoemake. He wants it, doesn't he? He wants to show Jack Ramsey what kind of a mistake he made. Turn around, Smith.
Interesting here, Brent. Collins is not in foul trouble, and he is picking up McAdoo on defense, and Tommy Heinsohn will do that.
That is interesting because if Collins gets into foul trouble early, they'll switch him back up.
Right off.
Keep him away, don't they?
They'll pull him right off.
Kaversky gives it off to the big redhead. He waits for White. Watch the shot clock go down. Celtics without that good ball movement. Off of McDonald's hands, and now they got to hurry. He's got to put it right up. That's no. Buzzer went off. Won't count. That basket will not count. Just a little bit slow in releasing. Didn't handle the pass well.
And Tommy Heinsohn is very, very unhappy because he felt the Celtics should have got the ball up in time, and that's not talking to each other. Somebody's got to shout, shoot it, shoot it.
Mindy, Kevin Stakem just checked in, and Charlie Scott went out. He's got 8:25. Interception by JoJo White, who comes back down on McAdoo off to Cowens.
And the Braves are not back on defense. Of course, on a steal like that, the only guy back was McAdoo, and the Celtics love to do that. They love to run.
And the Celtics go back up now by 6 field goals. There's Smith and Cowens is there. They bounce it underneath to Shoemate, who has it knocked away from him. By Kaburski and out of bounds. And apparently Shoemate had touched it last. Let me take another look at that. There's the slow motion.
Pick it up, right. There's Randy Smith with the bounce pass. There's Shoemate. Bingo, right off his fingertips.
Nobody hit that ball. McDonald started his run, but there was a whistle. That's on Gibbs.
21.
Don Adams, number 10, is checking into the game, and Shoemate goes out. Those are the shooting statistics I told you about. There's White, who pops out to take the pass from Staker. Cowens gives JoJo White a screen. And that foul is on Cowens for holding his man back on that screen. And that is, what, the second personal on Dave Cowens. And look at Coach Heinsohn.
Tommy Heinsohn can't believe it.
Dr. Gibbs.
Something very interesting in that play. That's the magic of Dave Cowens. Although Buffalo scored a field goal on that play, Cowens jumped out and picked up the ball, and he was on Ernie DiGregorio. Now, that is Dave Cowens on defense. He loves to play defense.
White with a miss. McAdoo was there, but we've got a loose ball foul, and you know who it's on. Listen to the crowd.
No. Jake McDonald made a mistake. Watch this now. You're going to hear something.
Coming the other way. It's on McAdoo. Everyone in the arena, including the Celtics coaches, thought that it was on Cowens. Cowens thought the call was going to go that way. Heinsohn was up protesting. Ramsey apparently understands.
I knew it immediately, Brent. I hate to say I told you so, but I knew that he had made a mistake in pointing. What he did, he had the right play, but the wrong direction.
Cowens came into the lane and drew still another foul. That is the third foul against McAdoo, who was picked up too quickly.
You saw the hands on McAdoo. McAdoo is just pushing Cowens on the hips. Now the game has picked up physically, and this is good for Buffalo because they need some intensity in their ball game. They've had none up until now.
Shoemate going to come back in. Here's Cowens, who pops, partially blocked. McAdoo with control. It's 32-22 and 7 minutes left in the first half. Dick Gibbs hit outside a moment ago. Can't convert, and Adams is right there, giving Buffalo a second chance, and as he came up, there was contact and a foul.
Buffalo has been rather lethargic up until this point in the game. But now with Adams in the ball game, with Shoemate coming into the ball game, and with Gibbs into the ball game, they'll need some intensity, and they'll probably pick it up, which will help them, Brent.
And they took McAdoo out for a rest.
For the past 12 years, we've been doing punishing things like this to Ford pickups to show you on television how tough Fords are built. But what are the facts in everyday year-in, year-out usage? Well, according to R.L. Polk registrations, 93 out of 100 of all Ford trucks built in the last 12 years are still on the job. That doesn't prove how long the 76s will last, but that's the kind of toughness we build into every Ford truck. 93 out of 100 built since 63 are still on the job.
Hi. I don't drive that way out on the streets, and please don't you either. You know the old gray ghost here? Well, inside she runs like a top. That's why the folks at STP hired me, because they know I take good care of my own cars, including my new family wagon here, and I use STP oil treatment in all of them. They want me to tell you why? I'll tell you why. On account of it works. And that's the name of that tune.
Next Saturday and Sunday, CBS Sports presents the $200,000 Houston Open, where Ray Floyd, Ben Crenshaw, and Hubie Green will be shooting for the $40,000 first prize. That's next Saturday and Sunday.
Mindy, what did you tell me the spread was in this game? A field goal and an extra point, or a field goal and a free throw?
I don't know. You lay one on me, Fred.
All right. Buffalo was favored in this game, and they have fallen behind 32-22 with 6 minutes and 49 seconds to go in the first half. Here's Don Adams. He played with some of that intensity you were commenting about, too, Mindy.
That's one thing this Buffalo team lacks. They have character, they have experience, they have good shooters, good ball handling. I've always felt that Buffalo lacked a little bit of intensity. Somebody to go out there and just charge them up, create something, have a little fisticuffs if that be necessary, get on the referee's backside to do something to get this team moving.
Ernie D was on Stakem pretty good. Shot clock goes down towards 10 seconds. Here's Nelson picked off by Collins. They go back to good defense by McMillan. Couldn't work the pick and roll. Smith on the burn.
Well, that's what I mean by some intensity. Randy Smith just did it. He'll bring this crowd up. He'll bring this club up. And that's what Buffalo needs, somebody to take charge out here.
Pull them back to within 6 points with that field goal. Crowd now helping Buffalo. Nelson with a miss, and Smith is there. Silas goes down.
And Don Adams put him down, Brent, I might add.
Smith outside. And they are back in this ballgame.
And the spark is lit. Let's see if Tommy Heinsohn calls time now to put it out. And he does. Heinsohn is not happy with what's happening. He senses the intensity that I spoke about just a few minutes ago. He wants to turn the tide around. We'll call a timeout. Wham out goes Randy Smith.
How's my precious pickpocket knife?
Awful. All I stole were these Bank America traveler's checks. With 4. They're not like other traveler's checks. They're signed on the front, but countersigned on the back, so it's tough to forge the signature.
Gee, what if everyone carried Bank America traveler's checks?
Don't ever say a thing like that to a pickpocket.
Bank America traveler's checks. A world of safety for your money.
Day and night, mile after mile, we put 40,000 miles on the set of Sears Road Handlers and went on to run the route of the Pony Express. From Missouri to California, Road Handler, Sears' best steel-belted radio. It's the tire that ran 40,000 miles and then took on the rugged route of the Pony Express. Our widest radial design with more steel than before. The Road Handler, Sears' best steel-belted radio. Only at Sears.
CBS Sports will televise tense playoff action with a game Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, followed on Sunday by an exciting playoff doubleheader beginning at 12:30 p.m. Eastern.
Lindy, here's the player who has ignited Buffalo. Randy Smith, 1 field goal in the first quarter and 4 field goals here in the second. He is the leading rebounder. You can see why. He has pulled down 7 boards in this game. He is a 4th-year pro out of Buffalo State. And Adams knocks the ball out of bounds as the Braves go to full court pressure here.
And I might add a 7th-round draft choice of the Buffalo Braves, Randy Smith.
Silas takes the inbounds pass and gives it to JoJo White, who's harassed by Ernie D. 5:55 to go in the first half. Now White gets it across. Celtics will set up a play. Nelson reaches outside. Shot clock winds down. Celtics must hurry. Good defense by the Braves. McMillan on the steal. They now can pull to within 2 points. Here's Adams, and McAdoo's been on the bench. Silas touched it last. That has been the significant thing to remember, is that McAdoo is resting while this is going on. He is over there on the Buffalo bench. Don Adams came in, and Randy Smith turned red hot. And Ernie D, let's not overlook his contribution. He's with control right now. We come inside the 5:30. Play is stopped.
Randy Smith is playing out there. And the important thing to remember is that when Ernie D's in the ballgame, Randy Smith is free to roam and do as he pleases. When Randy Smith is in with Ken Charles, Randy Smith is the man who must handle the ball, and therefore his limitations, Brent, come in seeking the open shot, looking for the pick, were looking for the double screen.
And that time, Mindy, they got a second chance and couldn't convert. Shoemate could not go back up. Incidentally, that foul was on Nelson. That's his second in the game just a moment ago. Again, the Celtics turn it over. But a loose ball foul is called. And it's on JoJo White.
Now we'll pick up the steal with Ernie D playing good defense against JoJo White. Takes the ball away, and JoJo commits the foul. Now, it's in the back court, but it's not a back court foul because Ernie D did not have complete control of the ball.
Ernie D hits Randy Smith and fires on the move. Folks, Buffalo trails by 2.
That's what I mean by Ernie D being in the ball game and Randy Smith being able to roam around the court looking for the open spot and moving without the ball. He's much more effective that way.
So now the Celtics have bogged down. Shoemate pops out, and there's a foul. Tommy Hobson's certainly unhappy about how things have gone for the Celtics in the last 4 minutes. They were in complete command of this game. Now they lead it by 2 points in 4 minutes and 37 seconds to go in the first half. JoJo White takes it from Salas. Over in the right corner, fires. Nelson is there. Had it knocked away. Ernie D with control. Bringing it up for the Braves. Behind his back to Randy Smith. Here is John Shoemate out high, and work time. Oh, listen to this crowd here in the other
They're up on their feet, and again, Randy Smith hitting John Shoemate, the open man. Randy Smith moving without the ball.
Moving down to the 4-minute mark in the first half. Collins with Shoemate on him. Puts it right up. He made that look easy.
That's the first Celtic points unanswered. Buffalo wins 10 straight.
Ernie D back down inside. Here's a foul.
You can feel it coming with this kind of play, Brent. Ernie D driving to the hoop. JoJo just hitting the left hip. And they have picked up the tempo. You can just feel it out here right now. The crowd is up. Ramsey's up. And all with McAdoo on the bench, surprising enough. I'll tell you something very interesting what happened with these two clubs, Brent. At Buffalo here, Collins did not play at Buffalo here late in the season, and Boston beat Buffalo. And in one game thereafter, after that, McAdoo didn't play, and Buffalo beat Boston.
Ernie D playing with fire in his eyes here this afternoon. He's working on JoJo White. Defense is liability, and he is trying his best to keep White from posting him. Scott out high. The battle underneath, and we've got a loose ball foul. It's on McMillan. That's his first foul.
An expensive foul also. Boston will now attempt 2 free throws at the line with Don Nelson on the line. An excellent foul shooter. Now watch his style of shooting. He pushes the ball up, Brent, rather than actually flip it with a lot of backward spin. It's like a shot put type. Let's pick this up and watch.
That is so unique.
Very unusual type of shot. The one thing that he has in his favor on this foul attempt is his follow through. He has a way to just break the wrist and follow it through, but he does put it up like a shot put.
Celtics lead on the strength of those free throws by Nelson. Ernie D gets inside. What a performance by Ernie D. Gregorio here in bringing the Braves back. Tied with 3:19 to go in the first half.
He needs this, really. Ernie D needs this type of ball game.
Shot clock inside of 10. You can watch it. Here's Scott. He loses it. Randy Smith out on the run. Nelson back. Quick pass to McMillan. Celtics come right back down. They trail in this game, 38-36. Collins held up. McMillan comes out. What a turnaround here in Buffalo. Jimmy to the basket won't go. Adams was there. He's got the basket and a chance to make it a three-point play. Look at Ramsey in that Buffalo bench. And at the other end, Heights is so unhappy. And there's Jack.
Those two pictures will kill it all, Brent. The agony and the ecstasy. Now, Ernie D will make this possible. Now, watch him box out Nelson, allowing Don Adams to go up and score the field goal and commit the three-point play.
It's been this Buffalo bench that has turned this team on.
And you got to give Ernie D an awful lot of credit because when he came in the ball game, is turned around since he's been handling the ball and handling the offense. And again, all of it with McAdoo on the bench.
Timeout, and listen to the ovation here for the Buffalo Braves. They're on their feet. They were down by 12 points. And they battled back, and now they lead it by 5.
And the first guy to come off the bench to congratulate that 5 that was on the floor at the time for the Buffalo Braves was Bob McAdoo. He patted everybody on the rump and said, "Great going, guys." And that's the kind of a player McAdoo is. He's a team player. He doesn't care how they win, just so long as they win, whether he's on the bench or whether he's on the court.
And, of course, later this afternoon from the West Coast, we'll have a second game. And then on Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be bringing you an NBA playoff game. It could be one of the matchups between Buffalo and Boston, or if that Phoenix-Seattle series, Mindy, goes 7 games, we'll be doing that one next Friday night.
It could conceivably be the 7th, right? Now, later this afternoon, of course, is the Seattle-Phoenix game, and Seattle has their back to the wall. They're 3-1, and it's a must game for them this afternoon. They have to win that game or be eliminated.
That'll be coming up live on CBS right after this telecast. There's the difference. That's why the Braves are back in it. Their bench is outscored Boston 13-6. So far, Ernie DiGregorio has handed out 5 assists, the statistician tells me.
That's worth 10 points, plus how many field goals has he scored, our statistician?
He has hit 2 field goals and added a couple of free throws. He has scored
about
6 points. And
16 points, exactly. Kenny handed out 6, he scored at 16 points, and he's responsible for turning this game around right now. No question about it.
And the unhappiest man is Tommy Heinsohn, who is there talking to Dr. Thomas Silva. Dr. Silva conferred with Heinsohn prior to the start of this game, and that was when the decision was made not to play John Havlicek. If the series had been even at a game apiece, Mindy, Heinsohn indicated to me that Havlicek probably would have played. This is Nelson with control. Cowan.
Cowan's out high. He has good range around that circle. His teammate's going to have to come out and pick him up.
2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the first half, and look at Ernie D. Oh, my.
Ernie D is putting on a show for the Buffalo fans, and they love it.
Ernie D goes down. No foul. JoJo White brings it back. Harassing defense by Buffalo. Scott answers it with a basket. So it's 43-40. 2 minutes. That fire you were talking about, so obvious now with Buffalo's performance. So different from the start of this game. Turnover, here come the Celtics. Charlie Scott right back down. Ernie D was there, and he fouled it.
A good foul by Ernie D because there was no way that Charlie Scott was going to deny the layup. And that's what I say about fouling somebody, Brent. If you're going to foul somebody, make sure you cut up a basket. Don't waste those fouls because they're ever so important.
Charlie Scott will come to the free throw line with 10 points in this game. He's picked up a couple of personals. Celtics pulled to within 2 points. And now just 1 with 1:46 to go in the first half. Let's see what kind of a play Ernie D sets up. Adams at the line, takes the jump shot, left side. Battle on the boards, and Adams gets back inside, has it knocked away. Celtics on the run, Smith and White. Smith was there on defense. Charlie Scott, second chance. Nelson, third chance. Out there, Silas over there. 5th chance for the Celtics, and finally it goes in. He draws the foul.
We talked about Celtics at the top of the show, how they must rebound. Tommy Heinsohn wants them to do what they do best, and there's no team in basketball that does it better than the Celtics. As this replay will show, they just go ahead and rebound offensively, fight the ball, keep it alive. And, of course, when you can do that, you're going to get second and third and fourth shots.
Celtics back in the lead. It's 45-43 and 120 as Jack Ramsey comes up. Kneels down in that familiar position here in Buffalo. Adams into the lane, crashing through, and he traveled.
Adams had no place to go, and he finally was able to get the ball off. and just kept going with it. Had he passed it off, he could turn it off anyhow. McAdoo was back in the ballgame there. Let's see what happens and see if he can get himself 3 or 4 field goals here.
McAdoo checks back in with Buffalo trailing by a pair and 1:05 to go in the first half. McAdoo jumps off on defense. JoJo White misses, but Buffalo touches it and it'll go to Boston.
The ball went off of John Shoemate trying to box out Silas, and then looking for Silas, really never saw the ball coming off the backboard.
Lindy, they've got 59 seconds, so they'll have to squeeze off a shot and give Buffalo the ball back. White does quickly. McAdoo had position on Silas, and Silas came up over him.
And that's the only way to cut Silas off from rebounding offensively, and that is getting position. Paul Silas is not that great a jumper. He's not that great a leaper, nor is he that tall, Brent. But what he does better than anybody else, and of course he led the league in offensive rebounding, is get position inside the defensive man. He'll even go baseline or maybe step out of bounds a spot or two.
They're going to give him a rest as Jimmy Ard checks in. McAdoo is at the line. That's the 3rd foul on Silas. McAdoo hits the front of the rim. That's a spot he's been hitting with his field goal attempts, too, before he went out for that rest.
He's having a little problem. I spoke to him yesterday at practice, and he seems to be having a little bit of a problem on converting free throws. Of course, that didn't happen in the Philadelphia series, but it did happen in the Boston second game. He missed 4 very crucial free throws down toward the end of the ball game, Brent.
Right now, Mindy, it is a 1-point Celtic lead. They try to go to Nelson, and McAdoo got a hand on it. He has made his presence felt on defense after checking back in this game. He's been a force underneath. Nelson goes off to JoJo. They come back to the line to Scott. Nelson off the weak. Quick shot.
And that's what Nelson did so well Friday night at the top of the key. McMillan's got to come out and pick him up.
Braves cannot use up all the clock, so they fire in a hurry, and McMillan brings them to within 1 point. Now the Celtics can run it down to that final shot.
And it would be certainly a lift for the Buffalo Braves if they can hold the Celtics down without scoring a field goal at this point.
Heinsohn up, yelling the play. Nelson wanted to give it back, and the Braves have taken away. If they can hurry, they can get one off. Lead pass inside Shoemate. What a play.
And if that'll lift them up as they go into the locker room. Anybody else, and of course he led the league in offensive rebounding, is get position inside the defensive man. He'll even go baseline or maybe step out of bounds a spot or two.
They're going to give him a rest as Jimmy Ard checks in. McAdoo is at the line. That's the 3rd foul on Silas. McAdoo hits the front of the rim. That's a spot he's been hitting with his field goal attempts, too, before he went out for that rest.
He's having a little problem. I spoke to him yesterday at practice, and he seems to be having a little bit of a problem on converting free throws. Of course, that didn't happen in the Philadelphia series, but it did happen in the Boston second game. He missed 4 very crucial free throws down toward the end of the ball game, Brent.
Right now, Mindy, it is a 1-point Celtic lead. They try to go to Nelson, and McAdoo got a hand on it. He has made his presence felt on defense after checking back in this game. He's been a force underneath. Nelson goes off to JoJo. They come back to the line to Scott. Nelson off the weak. Quick shot.
And that's what Nelson did so well Friday night at the top of the key. McMillan's got to come out and pick him up.
Braves cannot use up all the clock, so they fire in a hurry, and McMillan brings them to within 1 point. Now the Celtics can run it down to that final shot.
And it would be certainly a lift for the Buffalo Braves if they can hold the Celtics down without scoring a field goal at this point.
Heinsohn up, yelling the play. Nelson wanted to give it back, and the Braves have taken away. If they can hurry, they can get one off. Lead pass inside Shoemate. What a play.
And if that'll lift them up as they go into the locker room, it's that type of a play. Great defense. A steal by McMillan. A feed to Shoemate. Up off the glass, and I'll tell you, that'll lift them up for the second half.
You'll see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
The Mitch mid-70s, foreign vehicles invade the United States. Now Oldsmobile mounts a counter-offensive with Omega Brome. Omega Brome gives America good gas mileage, luxury, comfort, and a manufacturer's suggested retail price under $4,000. That's $3,100 less than Audi 100 LS sedan, $2,500 less than Saab 99 LE sedan, $2,600 less than Volvo 244.
Oldsmobile Omega Brome. Can we build one for you?
A massage and a hot shower. Together they work wonders on the aches and pains of life. And now there's the shower massage by Waterpik. A way to get a massage every time you shower. Thousands of tiny bursts of water adjust for a gentle, relaxed...
Anybody else, and of course he led the league in offensive rebounding, is get position inside the defensive man. He'll even go baseline or maybe step out of bounds a spot or two.
They're going to get him a rest as Jimmy Ard checks in. McAdoo is at the line. That's the third foul on Silas. McAdoo hits the front of the rim. That's a spot he's been hitting with his field goal attempts, too, before he went out for that rest.
He's having a little problem. I spoke to him yesterday at practice, and he seems to be having a little bit of a problem on converting free throws. Of course, that didn't happen in the Philadelphia series, but it did happen in the Boston second game. He missed 4 very crucial free throws down toward the end of the ball game, Brent.
Right now, Mindy, it is a 1-point Celtic lead. They try to go to Nelson, and McAdoo got a hand on it. He has made his presence felt on defense after checking back in this game. He's been a force underneath. Nelson goes off to JoJo. They come back to the line to Scott. Nelson off the weak. Quick shot.
And that's what Nelson did so well Friday night at the top of the key. McMillan's got to come out and pick him up.
Braves cannot use up all the clock, so they fire in a hurry, and McMillan brings them to within 1 point. Now the Celtics can run it down to that final shot.
And it would be certainly a lift for the Buffalo Braves if they can hold the Celtics down without scoring a field goal at this point.
Heinsohn up, yelling the play. Nelson wanted to give it back, and the Braves have taken away. If they can hurry, they can get one off. Lead pass inside Shumay. What a play.
And if that'll lift them up as they go into the locker room, it's that type of a play. Great defense. A steal by McMillan. A feed to Shoemate. Up off the glass, and I'll tell you, that'll lift them up for the second half.
You'll see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
The mid-70s, foreign vehicles invade the United States. Now Oldsmobile mounts a counter-offensive with Omega Brome. Omega Brome gives America good gas mileage, luxury, comfort, and a manufacturer's suggested retail price under $4,000. That's $3,100 less than Audi 100 LS sedan, $2,500 less than Saab 99 LE sedan, $2,600 less than Volvo 244.
Oldsmobile Omega Brome. Can we build one for you?
A massage and a hot shower. Together they work wonders on the aches and pains of life. And now there's the shower massage by Waterpik. A way to get a massage every time you shower. Thousands of tiny bursts of water adjust for a gentle, relaxing massage. A brisk, invigorating massage or a regular shower. There's only one shower massage by Waterpik.
If you couldn't register to vote last time around, do it this time around. If you couldn't register to vote last time around, do it this time around.
Brought to you by the National Basketball Association as a public service.
Red Auerbach on Round Ball. Red Auerbach on Roundball is sponsored by Consolidated Cigar Corporation, makers of Muriel cigars.
Turn on the bright lights and turn off the gloom. Great tasting Muriel will light up the room. Light up a Muriel and light up your life. Let in the sunshine wherever you are. Reach for a Muriel, it's one great cigar. Light up a Muriel and light up your life.
The blocked shot. Is it luck? Is it good timing? Is it anticipation? Bill Russell, the man who not only popularized it, but had it down to an exact science. Bill Russell, the old Boston Celtics, now the coach of Seattle Supersonics. What is a shot block? What is a block shot?
Well, I call it action because it's not a reaction. You can't, when you block a shot on reaction, then you're lucky. In other words, it's just jumping ability. There's more to it than that. I was playing to Bob a minute ago.
Bob McAdoo of the Buffalo Braves.
Everybody knows him.
Yeah, I know him too.
No, I mean is now, for a guy, example, a guy like him, if I just play him straight away, there's no way I'm going to stop him. Okay, so now going to his right, it's 2 or 3 points every time. It's a dunk shot, a layup, or 2 free throws. So what I would try to do with a guy like Bob, I'd overplay him. He's got the ball. I'd overplay him here. So now what I've done is I've taken away him going to the right. And I'm close enough so if he puts it on the floor, I can knock it loose. So I'll make him dribble with his left hand. So that's the reason I'm so close to him here, is to make him go with his left hand, dribbling, so that slow him down a little bit. Now, if I let him go all the way to the hoop, he'll dunk it, though. So that means I got to stay ahead of him. And the idea is to slide here, and wait. Now, but what I did is I eliminated half his options by taking away his right. Now, the idea is when I go up to block a shot, I'm going to try to sweep it that way.
Sweep it? You don't slap it?
No. Now, see, now if I sweep it there, now I got an angle to go after it.
In other words, Bill Russell was trying to say that when he plays one man, man to man, and wants to shut him off and block his shot, he studies that man. It's not a matter of letting the man make his move and then blocking the shot. Actually, you're blocking his shot before he starts his play. Now, when he goes to the left over there, as you had him, and he came up for the shot, as soon as his feet left the ground, Bill Russell knows he's committed. Right. Then you yourself can leave your feet. All right, dribble right across the center and take a jump shot. Russell's going to play you. Let's see how he plays you relative to blocking the shot. Go ahead. All right. How'd you like to play basketball and have that character right in front of you with those long
now,
arms?
on that play, he's giving me a break. He's giving me a break, but on that play...
Do it quick for the old man.
Don't tell him that.
Do it quick.
Now, what I'm trying to see, what I do is keep my hand up.
You made him miss.
I fouled him.
Don't
say that.
Don't ever admit that you fouled anybody. I can't buy that at all. Don't ever admit that.
Well, no, see, what I'm trying to do
Come on.
Now, for example, when he gives me a fake, I put my hands up, and I leave him up.
Yeah, but you still got your knees a little bit, right?
Now, say he gives me a fake. I keep my hands up. He's still shooting over my hands.
Oh, in other words, what Bill Russell was trying to say is, when his hands are up and he jumps, he does not bring his hands down to jump up a little higher. All he has to do is intimidate. Bill Russell, the greatest of them all. He dominated NBA centers for 13 years. Not only that, he intimidated the entire offensive flow of the game. Later today, at halftime of the second game, Bill Russell, along with Tiny Archibald and Bob McAdoo, will show you exactly how he did it.
Turn on the bright lights and turn off the gloom. Great tasting Muriel will light up the room. Light up the Muriel and light up your life. Get in the sunshine wherever you are. Reach for the Muriel, it's one great cigar. Light up the Muriel and light up your life.
Red Auerbach on Round Ball has been sponsored by Consolidated Cigar Corporation, makers of Muriel cigars. The NBA playoffs on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. See Kojak in conflict with the FBI when he investigates an unusual murder. Tonight at 9, 8 Central, here on CBS.
What we need is a truck with class.
Yeah, that's big enough to handle a 7-foot moose.
You asked for it. The Toyota SR5 long bed sport truck. It's a little warehouse in back, a little living room in front, with bucket seats, AM radio, carpeting, plus 5-speed overdrive transmission for great gas mileage. Toyota trucks. They work, they play, they last.
You asked for it, you got it, Toyota.
Picture book lawns come easy with simplicity. Riding mowers and lawn and garden tractors from 5 to 19.5 horsepower. Free-floating mower action follows ground contours for anti-scalp mowing. And Simplicity's patented hitch pin and belt system lets you change attachments quickly. When it comes to lawn and garden care, Simplicity wrote the book. Look for your Simplicity dealer in the Yellow Pages or call toll-free.
Channel 2, New York.
And we're at halftime here at the Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo with the Braves leading by a point. Brent Musburger along with Sonny Hill. Folks, Mindy, look at how he's dressed today. Does he look like everybody's good humor man?
You're better than some other guys around here. Only good humor man I've ever seen in a double-breasted suit. That is magnificent. Sonny, when you're done with your old clothes, I want them. Wait a minute now. A lot of people are waiting in line.
Listen, you were over in Detroit yesterday. I thought for a time the Pistons might come back, but I guess the Warriors got too much class in that series.
They also have that very deep bench, and that was the thing that wore the Pistons down. The Golden State Warriors have a tendency to play a little one-on-one with the starting unit. But when they go to the bench and they come on with the second unit and then go back to the starting unit, that's when they really get into Golden State Warrior basketball, which is the good movement of the basketball, and that's the thing that beat the Detroit Pistons.
You know, Sonny, Mindy and I had a disagreement about that game. I really thought the Pistons might beat them to go up 2-1 and really put the pressure on Al Adams.
I told you there was one key play in that game, and that was the play where Money went to the basket. Lanier missed the layup, and from that point on, it was all Golden State. And I tell you, I was really surprised to see Golden State lose that second game out there, which was a credit to Herbie Brown and the Detroit Pistons. I thought they might go 4 straight.
What about the fact that Herbie Brown took Bob Lanier out late and had him on the bench, and, of course, the Warriors made the spurt? Now, I thought Lanier was tired. I went along with Herb, but I've got some other people who are second-guessing him about that.
No, I agree with you, Brent, at the time. We discussed it when we were watching the game, and I thought Lanier was tired. And regardless what would have happened at that moment, I thought Golden State had the momentum and was going to go on and win anyhow.
What do you think, Sonny?
I would agree with that. Certainly, you've got to take him out and give him a blow. But maybe you could have taken a timeout along with that, combined that, and he'd be able to get about 2 minutes of a rest with only about a minute really elapsing in gameplay, because he's too important to their overall scheme of things. The Pistons depend on his offense and his offense solely along on a consistent basis. That's why when C-Row, Curtis Rowe, scored the 33 points.
What'd you call him?
C-Row, that's what they call him, C-Row. C-Row.
Right.
When he scored the 33 points in Golden State, that supplemented. But the Pistons are a team that always look for players to supplement Lanier rather than to have someone who can consistently do it.
Okay, you know what I'd like to do right now, Mindy and Sonny? I'd like to change the tempo of this conversation. Make it a little more aggressive, folks. I want you to take a look at how one of our color men gets into shape. How about that, Mindy?
All right, Sonny, do it, baby, do it. You stuck in me on the kid.
Good, baby. Hit that baseline and come on back. Turn it
Is he graceful, though? That's all that counts. Graceful.
Well, this is rhythm and flow. And he's got the momentum going for him now. How about this for a style of play, folks?
I want you to know how Sonny moves so well without the ball. Hey, there's a guy that was at the All-Star banquet who didn't think that I moved too well. That's Bill Cosby. He used to remember me when I used to play ball back in Philadelphia at Marlin Recreation Center. I used to say, give it up, please.
Hey, we've talked about Golden State and Detroit, and, of course, the Warriors lead that 2-1. Coming up on CBS, we've got Phoenix-Seattle. Now, Phoenix in complete control. 3-1. Can they go back up to Seattle this afternoon and win again?
Well, it's very, very possible. Of course, anything can happen. Although I look for Seattle to come on strong. They're coached by Bill Russell. Bill Russell's been in this situation before, and Seattle has been very, very tough at home. Now, of course, if they do win tonight or this afternoon, they've got to go back to Phoenix.
and that's a tough time because they're playing very, very well at home. John McLeod is doing a great job with that club. Alvin Adams will undoubtedly be Rookie of the Year. They've got it going, too, so Bill Russell and his Chargers have a tough time this afternoon.
Sonny, you've been paying very close attention to that Washington-Cleveland series. Now, the Cavaliers have a game edge, and we're coming right on down to 6 and 7. Can the Bullets get back in that?
I think it's going to be very difficult for the Bullets. Actually, that series should be over. The 2 games that the Cavs have won were 2 games that were very questionable. I mean, two of the 3 games were very questionable. The Bobby Bingo Smith shot, and then the Jim Clemens shot when 1 second was left on the actual game time. And you can't lose those kind of games and expect to continue to bounce back. I saw a game this week, Wednesday, when Clem Haskins played a sweet basketball game at a time that the Washington Bullets needed a lift. And I personally feel that he was the guy that gave them the spark in that particular ball game. But unfortunately, they lost that ball game in Cleveland the following. And it looks like Cleveland may be the ball club that will eventually come out victorious in that series.
Well, who knows? Maybe we've got another Cinderella. At any rate, you stay tuned to CBS, because we are going to have the best in coverage as the NBA playoffs come down the stretch. Coming up now, the second half, Buffalo and Boston.
You know, these days, you got to make every dollar count. O.J. Simpson for Hertz. You know, Superstar and Rent-A-Car means more than just dependability.
And fast service.
It means coming up with a whole new package of rates. Super Saver rates. For example, you can get a Ford Pinto for only $13.95 a day. Any day, plus gas.
And there's no charge for mileage.
Right. No charge for mileage. Find out how you can save. Call Hertz, the Superstar in Rent-A-Car.
AMF presents All Work and No Play makes another dull day. Work. You've got to work to live. But if you live to work, you're only living half a life. AMF says, go, recreate, let your other half live. We make Crestliner boats, Roadmaster bicycles, Harley-Davidson motorcycles. We make weekends. And weekends make work a lot easier to live with.
One sure sign of winning is knowing that the crowd is behind you. But for the boys in the Big Brothers program, winning is having one good man behind you. I'm Jimmy Walker of the Kansas City Kings, and I'd like you to meet Kevin and his big brother Jim. Your support of the United Way has given Kevin the guidance he needs to make it, and it's given Jim a very special friend. Thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service on behalf of the National Basketball Association.
The NBA playoffs on CBS are sponsored by Rolaids for fast relief of heartburn, gas, acid indigestion, and by Datsun, America's #1 selling import for cars and trucks. Datsun saves.
Just about ready to start the second half, and if you joined us late, the story is this. Boston moved out quickly to a 12-point lead, but the Buffalo Braves came right back at the Celtics after Coach Jack Ramsey went to the bench and came up with Ernie DiGregorio and Don Adams. Those are the statistics from the first half. Field goal percentage dead even.
And we knew that in the first quarter, Buffalo had only shot 30%, so look how they increased that field goal percentage. All made possible by Randy Smith and Ernie DiGregorio, who come off the bench and did a fantastic job.
Rebounds. Buffalo with 2 more than Boston.
Now that's
an
unusual.
area they had to dominate.
Very unusual, and that's what they need. That's what Ramsey said. They've got to control the boards. They've got to keep Boston off the board if they continue on in this series in any fashion.
Ernie DiGregorio will start the second half, and why not? And Dave Cowens just now came out of the Celtic locker room. You could see him bending down, trying to loosen up. So he took all the rest time he could get before checking in. He's on Shoemake. Here's Randy Smith. Ernie D. to McAdoo, who sat out much of the first half.
Oh, yes, yes. Nelson grabbed a hold of this on a pick and roll. Now watch this. You'll see Shoemake try to work a pick and roll with McAdoo. Look at Nelson. There was no way. There was just no way Shoemake was going to go to that hoop.
The third foul on Nelson. Ernie D. passes it into McAdoo, who squeezes the trigger, and still he is just missing. He has been short. White brings it down. Celtics trail it by a point, 48-47. McAdoo at the boards. Outlet to Randy Smith. One of the quicker guards any place off his foot, but right to Shoemate. And here's Ernie D. Shoemate. Collins backing off. They go inside to McAdoo.
Oh, good pass by Shoemate. You don't see that happen very often to pass the ball over two Celtics heads, but he just did it perfect. Good play by Shoemate.
And it's a three-point lead. Collins, right side of the circle, goes over to JoJo White. Back across to Scott. Look at the shot clock. Battle for the loose ball. Hit last by Collins.
I'll tell you, in any of the 3 playoff games I've seen so far, the Celtics seem to be holding the ball a lot longer and getting the ball up. They're using that 24-second clock going. That's not their style of play. Look at McAdoo rebound. That's what they need.
Mindy, in the first half, the Celtics were using 18 of the 24 seconds on the average, and Buffalo only half of that. The Celtics not moving the ball, and of course they do not have the injured John Havlicek, and we've seen this happen to them before. 52-47, Braves right back down on the attack. McAdoo passes quickly to the right side. Jimmy McMillan hits.
And the Buffalo Braves have got it all together right now. JoJo White just called timeout at the request of Tommy Heinsohn. They picked up a 7-point lead. You saw Collins miss an easy layup before. They are a little off kilter right now, and Tommy Heinsohn has got to get them together.
Now comes Miller time. You're so good you can play the blues even when you ain't sad. And now it's time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
There's a razor that's changing the face of America. Listen.
I've never been so impressed with a razor. Very fast, a clean, beautiful shave.
Without a doubt, I'm getting more shaves at less cost.
My neighbors are all switching to Persona.
It started with a trickle. Now the praise for Persona Double 2 is flooding in. The precision-engineered Persona Double 2. Twin blade safety, 2 sides. There's no finer razor made, period. It's changing the face of America.
Next Saturday and Sunday, CBS Sports presents the $200,000 Houston Open, where Ray Floyd, Ben Crenshaw, and Hubie Green will be shooting for the $40,000 first prize. That's next Saturday and Sunday.
The second game of our National NBA doubleheader. Phoenix at Seattle. A game the Supersonics must win to keep Bill Russell alive in the playoffs. Vinny, they've missed Leonard Gray.
Yes, that injury has really hurt that club, and nobody has picked up the slack.
They need that rebounder to help out Tommy Burleson. You'll see all the action coming up right after this game on CBS. Right now, Celtics trail 54-47. 10 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the third quarter. Inside to Silas. Foul came in toward the basket. Shoemate got him. And that is his first personal.
We have an interesting front line here for Boston right now. We got Jimmy Ard and Paul Silas up front with Dave Cowan, and that's an awful lot of muscle. That's what Tommy Heinsohn feels at this point that his club is not doing, and that's rebounding. And Jimmy Ard and Silas and Cowans hopefully will do it for him.
John Nelson went out with 4 fouls. On Friday night, those substitutes for John Havlicek scored 34 points. So that has been a difference in this game. Buffalo doing a better job against what is commonly referred to as a small forward, although certainly you cannot call Steve Kaversky a small forward. Here is Shoemate. Cowan's out on him. Bounce pass to Randy Smith. And he travels.
You saw Joe Cashew do a little cha-cha-cha.
Silas gives it back to Kevin Stakem. Celtics trail it by 5. Here's Jimmy Ard, college player out of Cincinnati. Plays center and forward. Quickly back to Cowans, out deep. A little bit out too far.
Buffalo would love to see Cowans shoot from out there all afternoon, because when he does, there's just no way he's going to rebound 22 feet away from the board, Brent.
McAdoo Jimmy McMillan. And McAdoo got over to the loose ball and saved it for Buffalo. And Shoemate left alone at the line with a miss, and Cowan snaps it down. JoJo White brings it back. Loses the dribble. Off of McAdoo to Silas, hook shot.
That Paul Silas just seems to be in the right spot at the right time. I said earlier in our telecast, ready to loose ball for a rebound. He just has a nose for the ball. It's incredible.
Braves up by 3, and 8:46 to go. McAdoo
he got hit.
By Ard as he went up in the air.
Jimmy Ard caught the hand on that, which is part of the ball, Brent, but he also cut the arm at the same time, which was the reason McAdoo is on the line right now. We'll pick this up now. Watch Jimmy Ard hit the hand as the ball is released, but he'll also come down and hit the arm at the same time, and that's a no-no.
McAdoo led the NBA in scoring for the 3rd straight year, averaged better than 31 points a game, was held to 7 points in the first half, and the referees were over discussing something with Heinsohn on the side. One more coming. Jake O'Donnell telling Mindy now what the problem was. What do you have to say, Mindy?
Every time the clock hits 48, there's a beep that comes off the buzzer, so they told both coaches to ignore it as well as the players. There seems to be a little malfunction that won't affect the game at all.
55, 51, 8:38 to go in the 3rd. Silas faces the basket. Here's Ard. McAdoo with his left hand on him. Collins, and he's staying out away from the basket, Mindy.
Cannot do Boston any good shooting from 20 feet out, Brent. He's got to get inside. That's where he's most effective. Talking about the clock, a little insight here to how a game is played sometimes, Brent. When there's a malfunction in any clock, we've always told the ball players to ignore the clock, ignore the buzzers, play the official's whistle, which Jake told them just recently.
So Ard has picked up back-to-back fouls, giving him 3. Foul down at the other end, comes up here and fouls again. And on the next foul, Buffalo will shoot the penalty. McAdoo couldn't burn him underneath. Cowan snaps it down. Off to JoJo White. Celtics down by 2 field goals. White to the right side, comes back to Cowens, who moves left now to Silas. Silas gives it back to Jimmy Ard, who traveled, took an extra step.
Jimmy Ard having a tough few minutes here, committing fouls, committing turnovers. That pass that Ernie DiGregorio threw to Bob McAdoo was just a bullet. I think Mac was surprised by it and didn't get the handle on the ball when he attempted to lay it up.
This time, Mindy, they had Randy Smith bring the ball up himself. And at the free throw line, he drills it on the return pass. Pressure by the Braves. Stakem gives off to Collins. Collins is helping Boston do everything, but he belongs underneath that hoop, rebounding. Here is JoJo White.
I'll tell you, Collins went to the board that time, and he had his hands on 2 or 3 Buffalo players.
Ard checking McAdoo. Ernie D wheels around, takes Stakem in. Bounce pass, Shoemate came in. He races back to save it. Smith, Heinsohn wanted traveling call. Braves must hurry. Shot clock going down. They're not going to get it off. Did not. It'll be a turnover.
And that's what happens when you don't talk to each other out there. Someone had to tell somebody on that Buffalo Braves club, either Ernie D or Shoemate, who last handled it, to get the ball up.
Celtics still down by those 4 points and 7 minutes to go in the 3rd. Big redhead. Out there, McAdoo rebounds. Off quickly to Randy Smith on the fly. Look at him move. Waits for Collins to jump past. Silas fouled him.
Paul Silas was hoping to get away with it. He got a piece of the ball, but he also got a piece of the arm. That's good hustle by Paul Silas. Let's watch this now. He gets the pass off. Paul Silas, the trailer on defense, just gets enough of the arm to call the foul.
The fuel-injected Datsun 280Z. Surely one of the world's great GTs. Reclining bucket seats, GT instrumentation, and performance handling. 2 or 4-seater. Datsun 280Z. Fuel injection, perfection. How do you spell relief?
When I get acid indigestion, I spell relief. R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
For heartburn, R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids spells relief. In this test with Rolaids active ingredient, laboratory acid changes color to prove Rolaids consumes 47 times its weight in excess stomach acid. How do you spell relief?
For gas, I spell it R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids spells relief. Fast relief.
Next Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports Spectacular will present the thrilling World's Championship Demolition Derby from Islip, New York, and the exciting Men's World Cup Surfing Championships from Oahu, Hawaii. That's next Saturday at 4 p.m.
Mendy, Sandy Grossman, and Chuck Milton will go to no end to get us a new angle.
They're playing tricks. I tell you, I just started to check the stuff I was drinking in this little cup, this soft drink. I took a look at the bottle, and I said, wait a minute, something's wrong there.
Mendy, I want you to know that my mother out in Montana was very unhappy with last week's broadcast. She didn't like it at all.
Why was your mother unhappy?
She said I didn't get on camera enough.
Oh, right. That was my fault.
That's what happens when you pick a game up in progress, right?
That's right. You got shut out almost for the first quarter last week.
Oh, a tremendous doubleheader, though, wasn't it? Third game, Buffalo and Philadelphia. I'm sure you know that some of the Philadelphia players are watching, and again, I want to congratulate them on their fans on a tremendous year, and that team is going to get nothing but better and better.
Once they learn to play with George McGinnis, as they did this year, of course, Billy Cunningham was hurt early in the year, never came back, but they did do a heck of a job. Gene Shue, I might add, did a heck of a job coaching that club, too.
So it's 59-53. White brings it back for the Celtics, who find themselves down by 6 and 6:42. Shoemate, fine defensive play. Popped out. Leap pass. Stakem was there. Didn't lead him far enough. Had McMillan open. Silas. Cowan's the trailing man. Over to JoJo White, who comes through to the left side. Good underhand layup from outside.
Those turnovers sure hurt, especially when they come down and score 2 points against you. That's a switch of 4 points, 2 you could have had and 2 you gave up.
Now Mendy, it's a 4-point lead. Inside Smith.
I don't want to be redundant, but I've got to point this out to our fans who are watching. When Randy Smith does not have to handle the ball nor control the offense, he is so much more effective.
Stakem began his move, and there was a foul. Let's watch Ernie D on defense. See if we can watch the push here with the elbow.
Just a little bit of a forearm there, wanting to keep the game open. Of course, the whistle was blown.
Goaltending, Shoemate went up. Hit the shot by Cowens. It'll count. You can watch it again. It's obvious.
Ball was on its way down. Of course, when it's on its way down after it hits the apex, you've got to stay away.
4-point Buffalo lead. 5 minutes and 49 seconds to go in the third quarter for the auditorium in Buffalo. Coming up next, Phoenix, Seattle on CBS. McAdoo in and out. Cowan snaps it down. Outlet pass to Steve Kaversky, who's checked in. Celtics can pull to within 2 points if they can convert here. With 5.5 minutes to go in the third. Cross court to Stakem, who starts his run back to White. D watching JoJo White inside of him. It's a 2-point game.
See, that's the choice a coach must make, as we spoke about earlier again. Do you take Ernie D for his offense and hope that the offense will overpower his weakness on defense? Now, the last 2 scores that Boston has made has been against Ernie D. Gregorio.
Jimmy McMillan, left corner.
Tough choice for Jack Ramsey. Do you keep him in there, or do you go with him and maybe sit him on the bench?
Celtics again find themselves back by 4. White on the drive. And Cowens went back up and tapped it in.
Offensive rebounding that the Celtics do so well. Now watch how well Cowens will look at. He's way out there at the circle. Now he'll just time this ball absolutely perfect, as you have to do, and just leap over and convert the field goal.
Oh, what a pass by Ernie D to Randy. Behind his back, and Smith converted. It's 65-61 Buffalo. Great to see Ernie D play like this. It's been so frustrating up here at times. And Smith down with still another rebound. 4:21. Here's the captain, McMillan.
When Jimmy McMillan gets into the offense, Buffalo is very, very tough.
6-point Brave lead. Smith comes in behind Stakem and knocks the ball out of bounds. Kenny Charles will report in. And Randy Smith will get a nice round of applause from this crowd.
You know, Brent, how tough is Boston? Really, how tough is this club? Take a look. Now, in my opinion, Buffalo is probably playing as well as they can play these last 4 or 5 minutes, or maybe 6 minutes, and yet they only have a 6-point lead. They've only increased their lead by 5 points from halftime. Boston is an extremely difficult club to break open a game against, especially in playoff time.
Cowan's being pushed outside by Shoemate. Shoemate stuck right with him, didn't he? Cowan's on the mission. Here come the Braves. It's 6 points off to McMillan. Comes up on Kaversky. Not there, and Silas brings it back down for Boston. Off to White on the right side. Scott's open. Cut off quickly. Back inside, and McAdoo was there.
Really a bad pass by Charlie Scott that time that worked out well because it did go off McAdoo's leg, but there was no way that Kaversky was going to pick up that pass. A fancy pass, a good pass, Brent, is only a good pass if it's caught. Otherwise, it's completely wasted.
White with a shot outside, and it counts. And he'll come to the line. You know what's interesting about this minute? Jack Ramsey wanted timeout, and they did not give it to him over there because they said he could not call it at that particular moment.
Well, a player on the court must call time. Now, they already handed the ball to the Celtics, and when you do that, the team in control of the ball is the only team that can call timeout, not the other team.
White misses his free throw. We've got a loose ball foul on Cowens. When Cowens got into it during that Houston game about a month ago in Boston, wasn't Jake O'Donnell the referee that night in the Garden? Do you remember? I think it was.
Are you talking about the Cowens-Newland thing?
Yeah, when he charged into Newland.
I really don't know, but I think you're right. But I will find out before the day is over.
Cowens and O'Donnell still talking about that last call. John Shoemate, formerly of the Phoenix Suns, at the line. I guess maybe the cliche will work. The trade that helped both teams because Garfield Hurd has done a job for John McLeod in Phoenix. Shoemate with a miss on that free throw, and the score is 68-63. 5-point Buffalo advantage. 3 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the third quarter. Cowens turns on Shoemate, gets inside and gets the glass.
Now they're isolating Cowens against Shoemate. Shoemate looks a little bit tired out there. I've got to say this. I wouldn't be surprised if Randy knows so much right now.
He's going to. You're right, Mindy. Adams will check back in. Shoemate with a second chance.
Look out. Watch this.
Look at this. Silas and Shoemate.
Hold it, babe. Good go, Jake O'Donnell. He got in there just in the nick of time because they were really going to haul off and smack each other.
John Shoemate will take a rest. He's pointing at his nose. He says, that's where Silas got me under there.
Let me tell you something else. I spoke to John Shoemate before the game, and he mentioned about an incident Friday night. Let's watch this, Brent.
Shoemate came right back up over his back, and there was the elbow. That's what hit him in the nose.
Look at Jake O'Donnell breaking that thing up. That's real good work by one of the officials. I've got to compliment him on that. Getting in there just in the nick of time.
Scott across the midcourt line. 70-65. Celtics down by 5 and 2:55 to go. Scott up with a jump shot. Not there. Did you see Cowens and Shoemate get off the floor and battle for it?
I got to ask you something. In a legitimate boxing match, if you've got Silas and Shoemate, you got a tough choice going there. 2 tough cookies, baby.
I like Silas's stance. He looked like a good right-handed fighter.
I don't know.
In the Olympics, you really hold your breath when they get out the measuring tape. Every fraction counts. Maybe that's why Lufkin is the official measuring tape for the 1976 Olympic Games. You, too, can get that same precision in Lufkin Power Tapes for your toolkit. Now, for a limited time, get a free carpenter's apron with these Lufkin tapes. Judge Lufkin for yourself. The Olympics did. Lufkin, one of the great family of tools from Cooper Industries.
Well, when we first started this business out, it's like any business. You don't make much money, if any. And by using the Dodsons, we didn't have to make a whole lot to not to be losing too much. I just bought this new 1976 Dodson here, I traded in a 1971 that had 230,000 miles on it. We find our Datsuns very dependable, just about as dependable as the sun coming up in the morning.
You can do beautiful things with Schweppes. Tonic water, bitter lemon, club soda, and ginger ale. Everything Schweppes touches, it improves with the sparkle of Schweppes and its curiously refreshing quality.
Schweppes is the ordinary, extraordinary taste. Schweppes is the taste maker. The taste maker is Schweppes.
Mindy, you know, Silas is president of the Players Association. That's who Shoemate was going to battle that time.
Shoemate probably said, you lay one on me, I'm not going to pay my dues.
Don Adams has checked in. Shoemate is out right now. Pass to the captain, McMillan. Cowens at the board. Raw aggression by Dave Cowens. 70-65. Battling uphill here in the third quarter. Now it's a 3-point Buffalo lead. 2 minutes and 25 seconds to play in the third. Randy Smith and Ken Charles bring it up. McMillan, McAdoo, and Adams up front. That's Buffalo's lineup. Scott and White. Cowens, Silas, Tversky. That's the Boston lineup. Buffalo retains control. And they will have 10 seconds on that shot clock. They were down inside of 10. So that's how much time they will have to get it off. Here's Adams from the left corner. Back inside to McAdoo, who touched it as Cowens came up on him.
I got to tell you something, Brent. They're letting Cowens at this point in the game, in my opinion, just play a little bit too aggressively because he is all over McAdoo's back. And really, all the officials have to do is call one play and free McAdoo up. There's no way that he can play against Cowens with Cowens leaning all over him.
Foul by Kenny Charles as JoJo White squeezed off that shot. And that is the fourth team foul against Buffalo. They are not yet in the penalty.
I've got to go back to what I said at an earlier telecast this year, Brent, that if the small men, the guards, would do what the big men do, who happen to be playing down low, if the small men did that outside, whistles would blow all night. I don't know why they don't clean the pivot up. All it takes is 1 or 2 quick whistles, and they will not allow players to just lean all over everybody out here. Look at Cowens and Adams now. They got that going.
And we got a couple of missed free throws, maybe. Leading Buffalo up by 3. Smith with a drive, and Cowens there. Lead pass to JoJo White. Celtics can come back to within 1 point, and they do.
How long will Ramsey keep Ernie D on the bench to get him back and get this offense moving again?
Well, let's see. Charles with a bounce to McMillan. Braves need a basket right here. McAdoo. And Cowens moved off and again muscled his way and pulled the rebound in. David trails the play and gives off to Tversky, who uses Cowens as a screen. With the miss, Charles. McMillan. Now they go inside to McAdoo. Cowens is right there, and Bob comes up with a jumper and out. Celtics controlling. Tversky injured his left knee.
And Cowens is exhausted at this point. He can't wait for this quarter to be over because he is walking up court.
As White began his move, there was a foul, and they are in the penalty, so they'll shoot that extra free throw.
Hey, you got to have it to Dave Cowens. He plays with such intensity. He loves to play defense. He loves to rebound. Of course, our most valuable player of the year here at CBS.
White hitting the free throw. And I had a great disagreement with you about that much of the season.
Did.
I was saying that Abdul-Jabbar was the most valuable, but I must admit, Minnie, that it would have to be Cowens or McAdoo when the Lakers fail to make the playoffs.
Mark that down in my book. That you gave me one, April 25th.
Out to dinner after this game. Here's Adams. There the clocks. Cowens watching McAdoo. Randy Smith with a great fake, drew the foul, missed the shot. Charlie Scott fouled him. There in the penalty. And that's the third foul against Scott, who picked up a couple early in the first half. That's his first foul since then.
You won't see many players fouling players on their shoulder with their knee. Charlie Scott has great leaping ability, and that's where the foul was. Charlie Scott hit Randy Smith on his shoulder with his knee.
Here comes John Shoemate back in the game. If you look at Randy Smith,
tell you, Brent, the genuine tribute to John Shoemate, when he boarded the bus for the Philadelphia game last week, he had just been released from the hospital 3 hours prior to that. When he boarded that bus, his players, his teammates, got up and gave him a standing ovation in the bus. They applauded him. It was genuine. It wasn't a put-on. They just admired him.
Mendy, he told me before the game that he still is bothered by slight headaches. That concussion is not cleared up completely. Well, with Adams, Shoemate, and McAdoo, Jack Ramsey goes for a little bit more size out there. Shoemate jumped out and fouled. That's his second.
What Jack Ramsey is really complaining about is the walk that took place possibly right before that foul. He was looking for the turnover. The officials didn't blow the whistle. They called the foul instead.
72-71. Buffalo leading Boston. We're down to the last 15 seconds of the third quarter. Don't forget, after this game, we'll go out to Seattle for the NBA showdown between the Phoenix Suns and the Seattle Supersonics. Phoenix leading that series 3-1. Adams swept down that rebound, and the Braves come back. With the score tied, time for one shot. It will be tied at the end of 3, or will Buffalo go ahead? Adams, not there. Cowens brings it down. White and McAdoo were on the floor. No foul.
That last foul, Brent, was really not a foul. They actually slipped, trying to hold each other up. Good sports, McAdoo and White helped each other up off the floor.
You'll see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
In 7,500 miles, your oil filter cycles enough oil to fill 3 tank trucks. A big job. And here's the filter for it. Introducing the Silver Bullet. New double oil filter from STP. The only one that filters every drop of oil through 2 filter elements every filter cycle. For a better combination of long life and high efficiency than the 5 other best-selling filters. Filter all your oil twice with the Silver Bullet. New from STP.
It's me, George Burns. For a guy who used to smoke cigars, even in the shower. I never thought I'd get real smoking satisfaction from a pipe tobacco. But this Sir Walter Raleigh is terrific. Made from all burley tobacco. Mellow, rich. Really a quality smoke. Terrific. And the pouch matches my shower curtains.
The quality pipe tobaccos of America.
We've asked these men to help demonstrate the advantages of a Datsun 5-door wagon over ordinary 3-door wagons. With the Datsun 5-door wagon, you can get in the back seat easier and quicker, which means you can leave quicker.
We both can't get in. On 3 now. I think we got...
Datsun saves. See the Datsun 610 and 710 5-door wagons at your Datsun dealer.
Showdown time in Buffalo. The last 12 minutes, we are tied. As we begin this final quarter, Mindy, JoJo White with 14 points in the third quarter really kept the Celtics in this.
And the man that was defending against him, as I mentioned, was Ernie DiGregorio, and that's the choice that Ramsey must take. Keep Ernie on the bench because of his weakness on defense, or bring him back in because of his strength on offense.
White shot up over Ernie D that time and missed. And Smith, who has been all over the boards for Jack Ramsey, comes to court, passes back, and Silas intercepts. On the turnover, here comes Scott. Right at 70 feet, Scott goes the distance and threw the foul as he came in.
Offensive foul.
Used that right arm as he made his move to the basket. Look how well the Braves shot in the third quarter. But they weren't getting any second opportunities. Here's McMillan left alone for a moment by Silas. Cowens. Off to Charlie Scott. Kaburski goes in and breaks the tie.
I said earlier, Brent, that Buffalo had taken the best shot at Boston, and for some reason they couldn't knock them out of this ball game, and now Boston's up by 2. And at this point, in my opinion, that seems to turn the tide slightly.
See if the Braves can come back and tie it again. They want McAdoo. Collins has him. On the turnaround, he drew the foul.
Hey, all I can say is it's about time because he really has been all over McAdoo's back, and it's about time the officials called the play to get Collins off of his. Now watch this now. You'll see Collins playing him, overplaying him, hitting him with the body. And of course, that's the foul. That's the play they must call. It's most important when officials referee playoff games like this. The call they don't make is going to have as much effect on the game as the call they do make.
Those two free throws give McAdoo 14 points for the game. Dave Collins is playing with 4 fouls as the Celtics come back, and the score tied at 74. McAdoo is out on Silas. Collins jumps out and takes the pass. They swing left side, come in now to Scott, who gives back to Kaburski. Good ball movement. Collins hits the boards twice. Still not there. Loose ball foul called underneath. Steve Kaburski battling for that rebound. Picked it up, and for Kaburski, that is his first personal and the second team foul here in the fourth quarter against the Celtics. Tied this time at 74, the last 10:25. Ernie D with control off to McAdoo, takes the jumper from 24 feet, it's off the top and out of play. They'll go to the side. Ramsey wanted the foul called on the contact, saying that's where he's hitting my shooter. Silas across the timeline. Leads Scott to the right corner. Randy Smith battling him for the ball. Inside to the redhead, who took an extra step.
Heinsohn not too happy with that call. But I've never seen Tommy Heinsohn happy with a call that goes against his club anyhow.
Hey, that's a good commercial you two got.
All right.
I'll drink your beer for a while. Here is Captain Jim McCullough. Back now to Shoemate at the top of the circle. Over to Ernie D. Collins jumps out. Ernie D backs off, does not continue his drive. And Randy Smith now comes left side. Jump shot. Off the rim. Silas leads the white. 2-on-2. Scott's ahead of Smith over on the right side. Braves back, so the Celtics have to slow it down. Score is tied at 74. Kaburski back to Silas. Over in the corner, Kaburski's left all alone. Can't convert. Battle won underneath by you-know-who. Number 35, Paul Silas. And how many times do we have Paul Silas dominating that offensive board for the Boston Celtics?
I cannot understand why the defending team does just not get inside Paul Silas. How can they continually allow him to get inside, gain that position, and continually out-rebound them? That to me is amazing. That would drive me crazy if I was a coach.
Don Nelson has just replaced Steve Kaburski.
I spoke to Jack Ramsey about that yesterday, about the ability for Paul Silas to rebound. He said, Mendy, I'm telling you, he said, I keep telling these kids, step out of bounds, go 5-6 feet out of bounds, but get in front of that guy.
Silas free throws have the Celtics back into the lead. Those are the players with 4 fouls. McAdoo ties it. McAdoo with 16 points. Season average better than 31. Joe White gets inside of Ernie D. Missed the shot. Shoemate with control. 9 minutes and 5 seconds to play. A tie basketball game. Buffalo trailing Boston 2 games in their semifinal. McAdoo gives him a little time with a little opening, and he will absolutely burn it. So the Big Mac is going to work here in the final stanza. Bounce pass Silas. Over this. And Silas picks off White, giving Scott shooting room. Missed it, and down comes Randy White on the run. Got McAdoo to his right. Over to him, and McAdoo with 3 quick field goals. There's Buffalo in command by 4 points. McAdoo tied it, and then hit 2 more. 6 points in a row for Big Mac. It's 80-76. 8 minutes and 25 seconds to play. Celtics need to come back. Ernie D trying to keep White out away from the basket. Collins maneuvers through the lane. Left-handed hook. It's a 2-point Buffalo lead.
Shoemate did everything right, and Collins still scored on him. That's a very difficult shot to stop, Brent.
McAdoo has it knocked away by Collins and out of bounds. Braves will set up an inbounds play, and it is McAdoo, because of his height, who will throw it in. To McMillan, back to Ernie D. Randy White is over on Ernie's right-hand side. They bounce into Shoemate. The maneuvers on Silas. Jump shot. Got it. He'll go to the line.
A real good move by John Shoemate. He faked left, he faked right. Silas couldn't really pick up exactly letters, left, right, and a nice little 6-foot jump shot for Silas, hitting him with the body.
That is the 5th personal foul on Paul Silas.
Very important foul, because Silas has to be a little careful now. One more, and he's gone for the day.
A 3-point play by John Shoemake puts Buffalo ahead by 5 points.
And the Celtics need a field goal, Brent, desperately right now, because Buffalo is up by 5. They can't afford to get behind by 7.
Smith pressuring Scott. They go to Cowens at the line, who comes left, and Austin Nelson who squeezes. That's his spot, but not this time. McAdoo with the rebound. Ernie D controlling the play, and again, Mindy, it has been Ernie D who has come in to run this offense so well. Here's McAdoo, and Cowens blocks it. Ernie D saves it for the Braves. Back to Max, and he traveled, turned it over. Boston will come out from the side, trailing 83-78.
McAdoo a little over anxious then to hit the open man and cause the turnover.
Ernie D picks up JoJo White as he comes across the timeline. Silas ready to give him a pick. No, White goes the other way. Nelson pops out. McMillan taking him. Scott rotates under. Pass inside on the turnover as McAdoo brings it back up for the Braves. Lead pass to McMillan. Nelson was there. Took McMillan's spot away. They go back out to Randy White, who hits McMillan, coming back out. Ernie D outside. Celtics hit the boards. Silas off to Scott. 6:50 to go, and Charlie Scott on the drive through the foul from Jim McMillan.
Yeah, Charlie Scott put on a burst of speed in those last 2 steps. He just blew by everybody.
We're going to have a timeout, and that foul, Mindy, on Jim McMillan, his 3rd. 2 team fouls against Buffalo. 6:48 to play.
This is when you find out how good your car insurance company really is. Agent Dick Ingalls talks about State Farm claims.
You know, I found that most folks are just tickled to death when they really find out how simple our system of handling claims is. And that claim starts when you contact your agent. One of the ways our system works is we might ask you to just drop in one of our driving claim service centers. If your car is not drivable, we'll send one of our claims representatives to your car. In many cases, the customer can come by the office and we can take care of it right here. No hassle, no problem, and he's tickled to death. What I'm trying to say is this: if you have a claim with State Farm, by golly, we're going to get on that claim pronto. It's going to be handled fast, and it's going to be handled fair. And that's the truth.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is
CBS Sports will televise 10th playoff action with a game Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, followed on Sunday by an exciting playoff doubleheader beginning at 12:30 p.m. Eastern.
And don't forget, CBS has still more NBA playoff action coming up this afternoon. We'll go out to Seattle for a game between the Phoenix Suns and the Seattle Supersonics.
CBS Sports will televise 10th playoff action with a game Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, followed on Sunday by an exciting playoff doubleheader beginning at 12:30 p.m. Eastern.
And don't forget, CBS has still more NBA playoff action coming up this afternoon. We'll go out to Seattle for a game between the Phoenix Suns and the Seattle Supersonics right after this. Minnie Rudolph, it is 3:27 in Buffalo, and the temperature outside is 38 degrees.
You can believe it, because when we walked from our cab that I drove over here into this auditorium, I almost froze my butt off. It is nasty outside.
But you really didn't freeze it off, right?
Not really. No,
okay,
no.
Scott is at the line. 6:48 to play. 3-point Buffalo lead as they come up, 83-80. Bounce pass from Ernie D to McMillan. Silas is fronting Shoemate. Ernie D tries to go over Silas, and he does, and Shoemate's got the field goal.
That should be it for Paul Silas if the foul is on him. Let's see.
Well, Collins was there, too. Hold on.
Check it out.
Now Collins. That's Collins who was there. That's his fifth. Here it is. Collins will cut him off right there.
There's the foul. Foul on Collins.
Silas rebounds Shoemate's missed free throw. It's a 5-point Buffalo advantage. Collins and Silas each playing with 5 personals and 6:20 to go. White on the move to the foul. Ernie DiGregorio clipped him, but the Braves not yet in the penalty, so the ball will go out on the side. That is the 5th personal against DiGregorio. Scott comes around Collins, goes inside, and the pass is off White's hands and out of bounds. And I think JoJo wanted it either a little softer or a little lower.
Both. A little lower and a little softer.
Smith directs the Buffalo attack against Charlie Scott. Here is Shoemate who took the pass. He's inside with Silas. They'll try to get Collins and Silas out as they can. Up over the top and out of play.
Now, there's one danger that a club faces when they have a man in foul trouble is changing their offensive patterns, Brent, and continually going to the man who is playing the man with 5 fouls, because then everything breaks down. Everybody stands around, and it's a one-on-one game.
Silas to the basket. He wanted the foul on that also. Hit the field goal, pulls the Celtics to within 3. 5:43, and Ernie D comes across the timeline, gets his court position, and calls his timeout. He'll take the Braves, and look at Heinsohn screaming at the commissioner. He's not at all happy.
He's not very happy at all, is he?
You've been on the receiving end of that occasionally.
Right.
As a businessman, for me, there is no other choice other than Datsun. We own 35 Datsuns, and they perform beautifully. You cannot beat the cost of operation, and the downtime is minimal. Rain, sleet, snow, these cars keep going, and they put an average of 1,000 miles a week on each one of them. We've tried 4 different manufacturers in the past 4 years, constantly checking to see if there's a better automobile than a Datsun. And for my money, there isn't.
You work in the sky with nothing to hold on to but the wind and a cold steel beam. And it's a very long day until a whistle blows telling you it's Miller time. Time for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
We've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer.
Give your watch a new twist. Twist-O-Flex. Give yourself a new feeling. Twist-O-Flex. Put Spidell on your wrist. Twist-O-Flex. It's the one that keeps giving. Twist-O-Flex. Give your watch a new twist. Give your watch a new Twist-O-Flex.
Twist-O-Flex watch bands only by Spidell, giving comfort, beauty, flexibility in over 100 great styles.
Shame on me. Shame, 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 shame on me.
Yes, indeed. Shame on,
I'll tell you something.
Shame on everyone. Particularly those dreaded referees. Here's McMillan. 85-82. McAdoo up in the air with a jump shot. Not there. Rebounds. Goes up the second time, and he's got it.
McAdoo is so much more effective when he uses the backboard instead of going right through to the hoop. He has a tremendous range off glass.
A 10-point fourth quarter so far for McAdoo, Mindy. Give him 22 overall. Nelson. All alone when he turned that corner. No one picked him up. That's not good defense, and Ramsey was unhappy.
He was terribly unhappy with Jimmy McMillan that time because Jimmy just turned his head and didn't pick up Don Nelson at all. He was really furious.
It's a 3-point basketball game. 4:55. Again, Collins and Silas in foul trouble. Randy Smith hit it. No rebounding muscle needed. Those 5 points the Celtics must make up again. 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Right after this game, we go out to Seattle. Cowan In and out. Buffalo controls. Now we come inside the 4-minute and 30-second mark. Randy Smith slowing it down a little bit. Set up a play. Usually Buffalo much better when they're on the move. Ernie D, quick pass to McMillan. Off the iron. Scott outlet pass. Ernie D came over. White control. JoJo cut off by McMillan. Goes to the jump shot. Silas at the board.
Paul Silas has not been so many times before in the right spot at the right time off the offensive boards. It's just incredible.
Again, Randy Smith setting up the Buffalo offense. Shoemate in control. Collins jumps back to front McAdoo. They work the double.
CBS Sports will televise 10th playoff action with a game Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, followed on Sunday by an exciting playoff doubleheader beginning at 12:30 p.m. Eastern.
And don't forget, CBS has still more NBA playoff action coming up this afternoon. We'll go out to Seattle for a game between the Phoenix Suns and the Seattle Supersonics right after this. Minnie Rudolph, it is 3:27 in Buffalo, and the temperature outside is 38 degrees.
You can believe it, because when we walked from our cab that I drove over here into this auditorium, I almost froze my butt off. It is nasty outside.
But you really didn't freeze it off, right?
Not really. No,
Okay,
no.
Scott is at the line. 6:48 to play. 3-point Buffalo lead as they come up, 83-80. Bounce pass from Ernie D to McMillan. Silas has fronted Shoemate. Ernie D tries to go over Silas, and he does, and Shoemate's got the field goal.
That should be it for Paul Silas if the foul is on him. Let's see.
Oh, Collins was there, too. Hold on.
Check it out.
Now Collins. It's Collins who was there. That's his fifth. Here it is. Collins will cut him off right there.
There's the foul. Foul on Collins.
Silas rebounds Shoemate's missed free throw. It's a 5-point Buffalo advantage. Collins and Silas each playing with 5 personals and 6:20 to go. White on the move, drew the foul. Ernie DiGregorio clipped him, but the Braves not yet in the penalty, so the ball will go out on the side. That is the 5th personal against DiGregorio. Scott comes around Collins, goes inside, and the pass is off White's hands and out of bounds. And I think JoJo wanted it either a little softer or a little lower.
Both. A little lower and a little softer.
Smith directs the Buffalo attack against Charlie Scott. Here is Shoemate who took the pass. He's inside with Silas. They'll try to get Collins and Silas out if they can. Up over the top and out of play.
Now, there's one danger that a club faces when they have a man in foul trouble is changing their offensive pattern, Brent, and continually going to the man who is playing the man with 5 fouls, because then everything breaks down. Everybody stands around, and it's a one-on-one game.
Silas to the basket. He wanted the foul on that also. Hit the field goal, pulls the Celtics to within 3. 5:43, and Ernie D comes across the timeline, gets his court position, and calls his timeout. He'll take the Braves, and look at Heinsohn screaming at the officials. He's not at all happy.
He's not very happy at all, is he?
You've been on the receiving end of that occasionally.
Right.
As a businessman, for me, there is no other choice other than Datsun. We own 35 Datsuns, and they perform beautifully. You cannot beat the cost of operation, and the downtime is minimal. Rain, sleet, snow, these cars keep going, and they put an average of 1,000 miles a week on each one of them. We've tried 4 different manufacturers in the past 4 years, constantly checking to see if there's a better automobile than a Datsun. And for my money, there isn't.
You work in the sky with nothing to hold on to but the wind and a cold steel beam. And it's a very long day until a whistle blows telling you it's Miller time. Time for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
We've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
Give your watch a new twist. Twist of Flex. Give yourself a new feeling. Twist of Flex. Slits by Dell on your wrist. Twist of Flex. It's the one that keeps giving. Twist of Flex. Give your watch a new twist. Give your watch a new Twist of Flex.
Twist-O-Flex watch bands only by Spidell, giving comfort, beauty, flexibility in over 100 great styles.
Shame on me. Shame on me.
Yes, indeed. Shame on,
I'll tell you something.
shame on everyone. Particularly those dreaded referees. Here's McMillan. 85-82. McAdoo up in the air with a jump shot. Not there. Rebounds. Goes up the second time, and he's got it.
McAdoo is so much more effective when he uses the backboard instead of going right through to the hoop. He has a tremendous range off glass.
A 10-point fourth quarter so far for McAdoo, Mindy. Give him 22 overall. Nelson all alone when he turned that corner. No one picked him up. That's not good defense, and Ramsey was unhappy.
He was terribly unhappy with Jimmy McMillan that time because Jimmy just turned his head and didn't pick up Don Nelson at all. He was really furious.
It's a three-point basketball game. 4:55. Again, Collins and Silas in foul trouble. Randy Smith hit it. No rebounding hustle needed. Those 5 points the Celtics must make up again. 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Right after this game, we go out to Seattle. Cowan. In and out. Buffalo control. Now we come inside the 4-minute and 30-second mark. Randy Smith slowing it down a little bit. Set up a play. Usually Buffalo much better when they're on the move. Ernie D, quick pass to McMillan. Off the iron. Scott outlet. Pass. Ernie D came over. White control. JoJo cut off by McMillan. Goes to the jump shot. Silas at the board.
Paul Silas has not been so many times before in the right spot at the right time off the offensive board. It's just incredible.
Again, Randy Smith setting up the Buffalo offense. Shoemate in control. Collins jumps back to front McAdoo. They work the double team. Now Collins out on Shoemate. Collins very conscious of McAdoo. McAdoo with a quick pass. Ernie D outside. Silas pulls down the rebound. Now the Celtics can cut that margin to 1 point if they can hit here. 3 minutes and 34 seconds. A 3-point Buffalo lead. Back to Silas. Goes to Collins. Inside to White, it's a 1-point basketball game.
And they isolated JoJo down low against Ernie D, and that's what Tommy Heinsohn wanted. Get Ernie D down low. Not only is he smaller than JoJo, but he has 5 fouls.
An important moment for Buffalo. They trail in this series 2-0. Desperately need a victory here in the third game. Up by a point. Ernie D in control. Right baseline. Randy Smith jump shot corner.
Not very good shot selection, Brett, but anything that goes in will count.
Lead pass to Scott, and he stepped on the out-of-bounds line. They have turned it over on that court-length pass. Now Buffalo can stretch that lead to 5 points. For Randy Smith, Mindy, he scored 26 points. He has been the big man in the scoring column for Jack Ramsey.
And he's done it with Ernie D in the ballgame, not on the bench.
Millen comes out, gives off to Shoemate. Collins harassing him. Here's McAdoo with Silas there. McAdoo on the move. Nelson came over. So McAdoo.
There was nothing that Silas could do at that moment, Brent, but allow McAdoo to go by him and just hope that somebody else was going to pick him up. Now there's that turnover on the previous play. Charlie Scott's foot just hitting that line. A very, very important turnover.
McAdoo is at the line. Buffalo goes up by 4 as he hits.
I asked McAdoo, Brent, about his foul shooting before the game in the locker room, and I noticed that he brings that left foot to the right foot. There it is. You see that?
It's almost a jump shot.
Exactly. That's what he's attempting to do because he's having a little problem at the free throw line.
Again, that 5-point Buffalo advantage. 2:33 to go. Collins Gives back to White, who drives on Ernie D and gets past him. No basket. Offense.
Now that could be the big call of the game right there. Now let's pick this up. And you decide for yourself, watch JoJo crash into McAdoo. Is it a block or is it a charge? McAdoo perfectly still. Excellent call, in my opinion. McAdoo had good position.
I disagree. I think the basket should have counted and the foul against him on the drive. I think both things should have gone.
That is no way the rule in the NBA. That's the good college rule.
We got to change that rule.
We got to wipe it out, Fred.
That ball was out of his hand when he hit McAdoo. All right, here's McAdoo. Silas battling him. Outlet quickly to White, who brings it back down. Moving on Ernie D, and hold on. It's on Ernie D, and Ramsey says he traveled. There was no foul.
I think that's his sixth.
And Ernie D has fouled out, and listen to the applause.
Well deserved, I might add. He really played a heck of a ball game with the Buffalo Braves.
He sure did. He came off that bench and sparked him, didn't he? White comes cross court to Paul Silas. It's 93-88. 1:55 to go in the game. Nelson. McAdoo with 1 minute and 52 seconds. The Braves in command. 93-88. Kenny Charles has replaced Ernie D. Gregorio. Smith, Charles, McMillan, Shoemate, and McAdoo here for the final minute and 40 seconds. Inside to McAdoo. Silas is there. Shot clock a factor. Down to the last 5 seconds. McAdoo comes up. The battle hit over to Silas. Off now to Scott. They can pull to within 3 points. Need a field goal. Nelson with control. Turnaround. They are there within those 3 points.
Don Nelson with a good pair of hands, and Tommy Heinsohn screaming for a three-point play. Didn't get it, and now Buffalo has got to control this clock.
Important moment right now for the Braves. A field goal, Mindy could put it away. Here's McMillan if they run that clock down and then convert. You can watch the shot clock. Smith to the basket. Won't be there. Underneath was John Shoemate.
That will absolutely be John Shoemate's most important rebound of this ball game.
What a rebound and basket by John Shoemate that time. White. Celtics back to within those 3 points.
Boy, they are tough. Every time you think you knock them out, they come up and take another punch.
Time remaining. You can watch countdown. A 3-point Buffalo Brave lead. 95-92. McAdoo off to Charles. Shot clock down. They'll hurry. Charles with a miss, and here come the Celtics. Now they can pull it within 1 if they hurry. And Scott has turned it over. On the pass back to Silas, they throw it to Buffalo. Should be all over. Crowd is on its feet. The Braves are going to win a game. Nelson fouled with 14 seconds, but the Braves are right back in this series, and Game 4 is Wednesday night.
3 very big plays here down the end, Brent. One was Charlie Scott stepping out of bounds earlier that we saw on our cameras, or I should say on the tube. The rebound by Shoemate, which was an extremely important rebound, and now the turnover again by Charlie Scott, putting Randy Smith on the free throw line, and this should wrap it up for the Buffalo Braves.
They needed a victory. They fell behind in the first quarter. Bob McAdoo went out. Jack Ramsey used his bench. They brought the Braves back, and they're going to beat Boston this afternoon. And don't forget, we've got more NBA action coming up right after this game. We'll be going out to Seattle for that showdown between the Supersonics and the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix in command of that series. 3-1, and you can hear the crowd chanting.
And they're singing Goodbye, Tommy. That's Goodbye, Boston.
I gotta tell you, Mindy, you can sing that song a little too quickly when you're dealing with the Boston Celtics.
They've got to come back here and play a 4th game, and I'll tell you, Boston does not throw the towel in easily.
I would take the Boston Celtics out and buy them the best steaks in Buffalo and wine them and dine them and just relax them for the next few days.
We just saw the bench scoring 15-8, and that's the difference in this ball game right now. The Buffalo bench coming off, the Boston bench not doing. Interesting point here, Brent. When John Havlicek was out of the lineup earlier in the year, and I should say late in the year, Boston never hit 100 points while he was sitting on the bench. And here he is again on the bench today's game, and they're not going to hit 100 points either. So he is important to their offense. They move the ball quicker, they take a better shot, and they can run a lot more. Do you think so?
Absolutely. Okay. Listen, we just had word from Seattle that those teams are ready to go out there. Gary Bender and Sonny Jurgensen will be at courtside for CBS. You'll get to watch the Rookie of the Year in the NBA, Alvin Adams. And you'll get to see if Bill Russell's team can come back into the playoffs. Tommy Burleson needs help rebounding. That will be a significant factor. You'll get to watch the shooting of Fred Brown and all the stars from Phoenix and Seattle coming up on CBS. Right now, you can watch the final 14 seconds with Buffalo ahead by 5 points, and Kenny Charles came out and fouled Scott. And that is something they didn't need right there. What did he do that for?
You'll wonder what goes through ball players' heads sometimes, don't you? Why overplay the defense? You've got a 5-point lead. You don't want to put him on the free throw line. If anything at all, make him work for the shot, make him use up the clock, and then Kenny Charles just stumbled over his feet and ran into Charlie Scott.
There's Scott and 13 seconds on that clock.
Okay, those are the kind of plays that's got to drive a coach absolutely bananas. Toughest job in this league, Brent, is coaching any club.
Maybe the toughest job in the world, coaching any professional team today, is Buffalo wants to call timeout, set up a decent inbounds play. We come to the final 13 seconds. Talking about the schedule on CBS, Phoenix, Seattle next, and then, Mendy, where are we going to be Friday night? Where are they going to put us for that
We got
game?
a toss-up. I know it's going to be our crew, Musburger and Rudolph and Sunny Hill.
And you get no taxi cabs next week.
Not if you rent a car. That's what happened this past week. I told you to rent a car at the airport. You wouldn't do it.
I got lazy and wound up with you driving a hack.
I'll tell you, it's always been one of my frustrations, Brent. I've always wanted to drive a taxi cab, and that's the first time I've done it, and I'm glad. But how about the meter?
A lot of coaches in this league told me you should have gone to that.
You're right.
Years ago, Rudolph. If you were out of your element, I'll tell you that. How about Sonny Hill? What kind of a tire will he break out, huh?
Right.
We'll get
Sonny. There's two things that I always wanted to do, was drive a taxi cab and drive a Greyhound bus. I've never done that.
No, wait a
I
minute.
tell you.
I'm not going in any bus with you, Rudolph.
Someday I'm going to do it.
No
I'm
way.
Get behind the bus, I'm going to drive that.
No way,
I've never
folks.
done it.
What kind of garb will Sonny Hill break out for us next Friday night?
Well, I don't know. I've seen so many clothes. I don't think he's duplicated one yet.
No wonder he wants a raise from CBS.
I'd like to be his tailor, I'll tell you.
Well, the crowd chanting again. And if Buffalo doesn't come away with a couple more stupid plays like we just saw, they've got it.
Did you hear the question I asked the cab driver how to spell Mississippi? And he said to me, do you mean the state or do you mean the river?
Where do you
That
get
was
these
indicative of what we had this morning.
Will you burn that joke book? 97-93. 13 seconds to go. Seattle and Phoenix coming up next. So stick right with us. Oh, look at Tommy Heinsohn tiptoeing up, saying, now what's going on here? That man's got permission to get close to him. He wanted Scott to go out and foul him right away, and he did. Tommy was helping out all he could.
And this is what happens when you get like a 3-4 point deficit. You try to attempt anything to keep the clock from running down, putting Randy Smith on the free throw line. Hopefully a turnover, hopefully another crazy mistake of some kind. Right now, hoping for a miracle.
Well, that's what it'll take, because Buffalo is going to win. Interesting why Boston wanted the first two games at home in this series rather than 1-1. And Red Auerbach told Mindy and I, because of the layoff, he was so fearful they might lose the first game. He wanted to be able to come back and win the second in the Boston Garden. But instead, they wound up winning the first two games. Celtics milking that clock for all it's worth, trailing it 98-93, 10 seconds to go. Now they'll go over and set up a play. This has got to be the longest 50 seconds in the history of basketball.
No question, but I've worked games, and not to shill our audience that there might be a tremendous turnaround here or a very dramatic play. But I have seen it happen, crazy as it may sound, where teams will score 5 and 6 points in the last. Yes, sir, I have seen it happen, Brett. A crazy three-point play with somebody making a terrible mistake, an inbounds pass that may hit the backboard, may not even come in play. Another field goal, and before you know it, you've got 5 points with the snap of your fingers.
Ernie D, who played such a magnificent game, finally fouled out. What a favorite he is here in Buffalo.
Very, very popular.
City with a lot of great sports fans. And they're left with the Braves to cheer for. Their Sabres bowed out. As a matter of fact, it's a lot warmer in this arena. They melted the ice. My feet are...
Ice is all gone, and I know
I ran into some melting ice in the back because my feet got all wet as we went back to the dressing room to check out the players.
Tommy Heinsohn there with Celtics around him. Gee, I wish Charlie Scott had thrown that pass a little bit better. I would like to have seen what would have happened here down the stretch if Boston again had moved to within 1 point at that moment, Mindy. What a final minute and a half.
You really wanted to jump and scream and do your number, didn't you?
Love that action. We go double overtime.
Don't let the Buffalo fans hear you say that.
No. Well, listen, every time Buffalo has played for you and me this year, they have lost. This would be the first victory. And they saw me coming, and they said, where's Quickie and Jerry West? Will you guys get out of here? All right, here's White now. Baseline drive, put it up, and Shoemate was there. And I'll tell you, that John Shoemate turned in a ball game. They'll just run it down now. It's all over from Buffalo. The Braves have won a game in this series, and that's it for Sonny Hill and Mindy Rudolph. This is Brent Musburger saying so long from the Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. And stay tuned for more NBA action on CBS.
The NBA playoffs on CBS are sponsored by Datsun, America's #1 selling import for cars and trucks. Datsun saves. Stay tuned as the NBA playoffs on CBS continue with Phoenix meeting Seattle right after this word from your local station. They love to make you laugh, so relax and enjoy the comedy. Sonny and Cher and their guests, Jim Nabors, Larry Zonka, and Danny Thomas, tonight on CBS.
Michael Harris, Pittsburgh Steelers. The harder the competition, the harder you have to play. Gary Hansen, TWA.
TWA is up against more competition than any other airline. So to get you to fly with us, we have to be better.
Rick Barry, Golden State Warriors. What makes a winning team? Competitive spirit. Captain Davis, TWA.
This team, they've got a lot of competitive spirit. That's why TWA is out to be the best on-time airline in the business.
Nolan Ryan, California Angels.
Keep coming up with something new. That's how you stay ahead.
Laura Kulak, TWA.
Only TWA gives you your choice of movie, plus something new. Sports films on all movie flights.
If you want to stay on top, you have to be better. The TWA, being the best isn't everything. It's the only thing.
Channel 2, New York.
Welcome to the Seattle Center Coliseum. You join us with 10 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the first quarter. The score right now, the Seattle Supersonics leading the Phoenix Suns 5-3, and Norwood at the line. He has just been fouled. With a rebound is Gar Hurd. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Bender with the play-by-play, along with Sonny Jurgensen. This very important game of this best-of-7 quarterfinal series, with the Sonics having to win today, trailing 3-1. Curtis Perry now to bring it in. 2 team fouls thus far against the Sonics. We'll set it for you. Alvin Adams, the Rookie of the Year in the NBA, into Hurd. Hurd has a block by Seals. It's going to be off the Seals. It'll be the Suns basketball. Thus far, Seals has 2 field goals in this game for the Sonics. Gar Hurd will trigger it underneath. Bringing the ball in is Don Murphy, the official, along with Bob Rackle working this game. Adams. And inside is Perry, and Perry has been fouled. Sonny Jurgensen, that's been the story the entire series, is the physical play of the Suns forwards.
Certainly has, Gary. Yes, you see right here, you see the great offensive rebound going back up. Perry there with it, and Norwood picks up the foul. But that's where the mismatch has been throughout the series, and that's why the Phoenix Suns have a 3-1 edge in games, because they haven't been able to match up on the front line. And Bill Russell has even gone to what he calls his bull moose lineup when he gets in 3 centers in the game.
So the count now, and tied up 5-5. This is Slick Watt, who this year had an unprecedented double, leading the NBA in steals and assists. Burleson batted away off the Sobers. Paul Westfall, they want to run at every opportunity. Adams. And I believe we're going to have a charging foul on Alvin Adams. John McLeod, the coach of the Phoenix Suns, told us that they want to run at every opportunity. And Sonny, they tried it there.
Well, they got the steal, and of course both of their guards very good at that. The thing they have to do, and the thing they've been successful with throughout the playoff, is keeping the little man with the ball right here, the co-captain, Slick Watt, from penetrating. They have to keep him from penetrating because that's a major part of their offense, for him to penetrate and deal the ball off, and they've been able to do that so far.
There's Watts penetrating, but you saw the block. An excellent effort by Gar Hurd. And who's it going to be off of? It's going to be off of the Phoenix Suns. And Burleson will bring it in. And sitting down is Gar Hurd. What an addition he has been since being picked up for the Buffalo Braves. A 6'6", 6'2" man from Oklahoma. Burleson out to Watts. Watts picked up by Westfall. Westfall had 39 points in the last game. Seals already with 2 field goals. And Adams trying to box off. Reaching over is Burleson picking up the foul.
Alvin has to do this against Burleson. He's given away 5 inches. He has to rely on his quickness and positioning, which he did there. You saw an example of it. You're going to see an example of something you can't teach a basketball player, and that's smarts, because Alvin Adams is a smart basketball player, one of the best passing centers in basketball.
Well, there's a foul on Alvin Adams for backing in. Don Murphy called him that. That's his second foul. So both the big men now, Burleson and Adams, have 2 fouls each. Slick Watts. Up it comes to Brown. To Burleson at 7'2" out of North Carolina State. Off to Watts. You can see him jam back inside. Off to the big guy and a foul inside. They try to double team Burleson. Hurd reaching inside. And let's look at it, Sonny, again.
This is a good feed here to Burleson, moving without the ball. Comes across the key. That's what allows him to get this kind of position. He came from the right side and gets in. It's tough to let him get down low when you're giving away that many inches, and he has to get help from the other 2 forwards.
Well, that was a foul on Adams, and that is his 3rd. So this guy, number 21, Dennis Autry, will come in. A very physical player, 6'10", out of Santa Clara. So Adams in foul difficulty. The story of this series has been the Sonics have gotten off slowly on most games. Well, they have a chance now with Adams in foul trouble to get off the mark quickly.
They certainly do.
7-5 now. The Sonics lead the Suns. Ricky Sobers, what a rookie find he has been. Picked up by Brown, Watts, and Burleson, and coming up with it is Hurd. And Curtis Perry, who's done this the entire series, trying to follow, and Burleson's got it. Perry and Hurd have been tremendous on the offensive and defensive board. Fred Brown. Off it comes to Willie Norwood. Starting in place of Tab Skinner. Burleson. I think he put that one away for keeps.
That was the penetration we've been talking about. Watch this, the penetration. You see just what that does, what it allows them to do. Somebody has to pick up the driving Slick Watt and allows Burleson to go free for the dunk.
Now, what the booing is about is that Burleson was called for a foul after he scored, so he had 3 fouls. So both of the big men, Burleson number 16, and Adams have 3 each. A really interesting development here in this first quarter with 8:18 to go. So Autry now at center, coming in, replacing Adams as Westfall hits from outside. And Said Abdul Aziz has checked in, replacing Burleson at the pivot. Aziz out of Iowa State. Slick Watts off to Aziz. Aziz at 6'9", a big husky guy who played very well the last game with 22 points. He's going to try to get 2.
There again, the penetration by Watts. They didn't cut him off. They've been sagging in the first 4 games, but there he drove right down the key, helped the ball off. They would like to force him to shoot the ball from outside.
Aziz at the line now. He had 22 points, 8 rebounds in the last game, so he's coming in early now, replacing Burleson, who's in foul difficulty. Autry committing the foul, his first. This is not a good free throw shooting club. There's Westfall talking to John McLeod. In fact, the Sonics were last in the NBA in that category. You can see why. So it's 7-7 with 7:47 to go in this first quarter. Sobers with Brown on him. Brown is starting in place of Herm Gilliam, who has hamstring trouble. We expect to see him before the afternoon is over. Sobers. Aziz went up, but there was no ball to come down with. It's going to be the Sonics basketball. So bringing it down will be Brown. Brown has had 2 outstanding games. He had 34 points in one, 45 in the other. Watts has had a disappointing series. He was held scoreless in one of the games. Aziz with Autry on him. Here's Watts. Out to Fred Brown, and he can shoot him with a vest. And it's kicked off the net actually by Curtis Perry.
Oh. Wonder who they could give the basket to.
Well, Perry had a hand on it, so the closest man to him will be awarded the basket. It's 9-7. The Sonics on top. 7 minutes to go in this first quarter. Sobers with Norwood. Watts, the little guy who's got 6'1".
Up it comes to Brown. Back to Watts. Beautiful feed to Norwood. The basket will count and a foul is coming up.
This is what they have to do. Great break by the Supersonics.
So with 6:57, the Seattle Supersonics lead the Phoenix Suns 11-7 as this game is off and moving.
Hi, gang. No, this ain't a beer. It's STP oil treatment. I take care of my own cars, and I've been using STP for the last 10 years. The troops at STP tell me it makes your oil tougher, even a premium 10W40. And it helps reduce engine wear and you burn less oil. What I'm telling you is it works. And you can take that to the bank.
Well, if you want it, if you got it, with the Polaroid tip, just sip it off. Just sip it off. Yes, if you want it, if you got it, with the Polaroid tip, sip it off. Sip it off. So if you want it, if you got it, with the Polaroid tip, get your Polaroid tip.
Polaroid's electric zip land camera. Color pictures are black and white while you wait. And it uses Polaroid's new super color film.
Zip, get your Polaroid tip.
Hey, you can work all day on this heap. It still won't be worth being.
It'll look terrific in no time. I got Kit.
It's soft.
Yeah, Kit's pretty soft. It slides on easy.
Kit liquefies as it hits the finish. Deep cleans, wipes off easy. There's no easier, faster way to get a long-lasting paste wax shine, unless somebody else does it for you.
Hey, how much did you say you want for this?
J-Wax Kit. No wonder it's #1.
Well, Sonny Jurgensen, I don't think either coach expected what's happened already. Both Adams and Burleson in foul difficulty with 3 each.
That certainly could hurt the Supersonics more than the Suns because they do have archery, and it forces them, a lot of the offense of the Sonics is Tom Burleson, so it could cause them a big problem.
Well, Bill Russell, who's worked very long and hard with Tom Burleson, developing him into one of the fine young centers in the league, talking things over. Season ends today if the Sonics don't win, as Norwood at the line. Picked up this year, formerly from the Detroit Pistons, and then the Phoenix Suns, and here, and a veteran who has a bad knee, but a very smart basketball player. 12-7. Seattle Supersonics with the lead. Here's Westfall. Boy, what a series he's had. 39 points in the last game. He has been a welcome addition to the Suns' attack. Autry, a veteran, a starter last year, and a foul inside. It's whistled by Bob Rackle. And that was going to go against Seals. Seals picking up his first personal foul. As Curtis Perry now will have the shot coming. And Perry, who's considered Mr. Essential on this ball club, doesn't hit it. Perry this year shot 73%.
I think this guy had a bad rap a little bit when he played with Milwaukee about his shooting ability. He didn't shoot a lot there, but the word I hear from the players here with the Suns, he is a fine shooter, and he feels more comfortable taking the shots now.
Watts brings it in now to Norwood. Norwood with Perry on him, and again, some action inside.
I think they caught a 3-second violation on Norwood.
Give the ball back now. Van Arsdale, as you look at him, has checked into the game. Dick Van Arsdale, who missed 23 games this year with a broken left arm. But he says it doesn't bother him that much. He has it heavily padded. That his right arm would have made a lot of difference. Here's Autry against AZ. The two new centers in the ball game. Hurd having trouble with it. Up to Westfall. Boy, he can hit from there all afternoon long.
He certainly can. His shooting's improved a great deal this year. I just think with a chance of playing, feeling more confident because he is starting. He isn't the sixth man as he was with the Celtics.
Well, he is a clutch performer. Seals, who started the Sonics off well this afternoon, to Watts. Rebound, Autry at 6'10", an academic All-American at Santa Clara. Off it comes now to Van Arsdale. Westfall. Rebound, cleared effectively that time by Seals. Bring it off to Fred Brown. Both teams now picking up the tempo. 5:40 to go in this first quarter. Up to Seals again. Seals looking for points 5 and 6, and he got him.
Tough shot.
Seals has been disappointed in this series, averaging just about 6.5 points a game, so he's already at that average, as it's 14-10 in favor of Seattle. AZ's looking over Autry.
As Sean McLeod said, the thing they have to do, you can see there, Autry almost made a bad pass there. Great shot by him, fall away jump on the baseline. He said the thing they have to do, they can't put the ball on the floor a lot. They have to move the ball, pass the ball, find the open man. You're seeing a little more dribbling, people holding onto the ball than he normally likes.
Westfall on Watts outside Fred Brown. Fred Brown, who this year was fifth in the NBA in scoring, has had quite a series, averaging 32 points in this series.
Bill Russell says he thinks he's the best shooter in professional basketball.
He can do so many things well. Westfall, a good shooter himself. Rebound. AZ's played well the last time, trying to pick up where he left off. Norwood trying to direct Watts inside. AZ's with Autry on him. So AZ's playing against Burleson is able that time to find a mark. It is 18-12, the Sonics, and we're going to have a timeout by the Phoenix Suns. The Suns want to top things over with 4:22 to go in this first quarter. And John McLeod, in his third year, would like to wrap up this best-of-7 series.
You know, we've had a few disagreements over the years, but there's one thing we do agree on, and that's light beer from Miller. Light is 1/3 less calories than their regular beer.
But the best part is that it tastes so great.
The best part is it's less filling.
Nah, it tastes great.
Less filling.
Tastes great.
Less filling. Less filling. You know even less about beer than basketball.
That's it, Heinsohn. You're out of the bar.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
What is this? We ordered the chef's surprise.
It is the chef's surprise. Surprise.
You get enough surprises when you travel. That's why Holiday Inn thinks the best surprise is no surprise. You know you can count on a good restaurant and good food. Just one of 152 special standards from food to big comfortable rooms. Standards that let you know at every Holiday Inn the best surprise is no surprise.
Hager Expandomatic Slacks with a comfortable inside elastic waistband that bends as you bend, stretches as you stretch. Hager Expandomatic Slacks of premium quality Dacron polyester double knit from only $18 for the active man.
Thanks, Hager.
America's best known name in slacks.
There's John McLeod, the very personable coach of the Phoenix Suns. His Suns trailing 18-12 with 4:22 to go in the first quarter. You just joined us, Buffalo defeating Boston earlier, 98-93. Our next game coming up on Friday. The NBA playoffs continuing on CBS. The ball is kicked, so they'll reset it on the far side. Well, we've had changes because of foul difficulty. 2 new centers in the lineup. As the Sonics try to get off on the mark quickly this time after getting slow starts. Custom games earlier in this series. Westfall. And as he backs in, he's fouled by Slick Watts.
Oh, he kind of forced his shot a little bit, too, because the clock was down to 4 seconds, the shooting clock.
That's going to be the first foul on Slick Watts. You can see they're trying to get the mismatch. It's backing in that time. He's 6'4", Westfall, and Watts is maybe 6'1". It might be stretching it a little bit.
Yeah, I think you are.
Westfall now makes it 18-13. Acquired for the Boston Celtics, and you can see what he's done at the free throw line. Very, very consistent. He's been consistent all year in every phase of his play.
Russell's getting good play out of Abdul Aziz right now with Burleson on the bench, and I think this is important for the success of the Supersonics.
Watts looking in now. Aziz. Well, you can see Autry not getting an inch on that one. As Watts now with Westfall on him. They won't let Watts penetrate. They try to let him keep outside. Aziz loses it now as Westfall. They had 4 seconds on the shot clock. They're good defense that time by the Suns. There's Burleson on the bench with 3 fouls thus far. Shot by Perry. And Aziz comes down with it. Boy, he takes up a lot of room out there.
He certainly does. He's playing a fine basketball game here.
There's Fred Brown.
Great shot by Brown coming across the key. A little running hook shot.
Fred Brown, the former All-American from the University of Iowa, numbered 1 draft pick of the Sonics. Didn't have a good rookie year, but he's come on now to become one of the established players in the NBA. Curtis Perry. Perry, as you mentioned, shooting very well.
I think he's just more comfortable shooting, Gary, than he was. When you play with a big man, you have a tendency to want to go to him all the time.
There's Seals trying one. Norwood tries to keep it in play. Aziz has it. Seals again, and as he's on the baseline, I believe he might have been forced out on the play. A foul is going to go against Curtis Perry. Perry trying to reach in that time, keeping from moving inside, picks up the foul. That's his second.
You know, in the first 4 games, Gary, I think the story of the whole series has been the balance of Phoenix against the two-man offense, Burleson and Fred Brown. And they're getting good play today. I think that's why the game right now stands the way it does. They're getting good all-around play from Aziz. Seals is playing well. Norwood's been playing well. They need more balance if they're going to get back into this series.
5 team fouls now against both clubs. Just a moment ago, you saw Keith Erickson come into the lineup. 31 points for Erickson the last time out. Coming off the bench, he sparks the Suns all year long. Westfall to bring it down. And this is Van Arsdale. Erickson is number 14 on your screen. Former UCLA standout. Carherd shooting against Seals. Didn't get anything. Mike Bantam was in the game. Number 40 has a rebound. Bantam, a former Phoenix Sun. Off to Brown. He's got the hot hand. Rejected by Hurd. Up it comes to Erickson. Van Arsdale. Blocked by Seals, and a foul is going to be coming up against Bruce Seals. But there was the break. Very effective that time by Phoenix.
Well, they certainly did. They got the ball out. You see Erickson coming. He may have given the ball up a little soon because it allows Watts to get back and position himself. But Van Arsdale very smartly avoids him, but Seals comes back and picks up the foul.
That's the second on Bruce Seals. Van Arsdale at the line. The penalty in. As it's now 22-17. Sonics won the first game, and since that time, the Suns have really played remarkable basketball. 22-18 the score. Watts to bring it up. A lot of changes early in this ball game. Bantam's in there now. Aziz was in earlier. Having to come in for Burleson. This is Brown again.
Oh, what a shot.
Fred Brown already with 6 points, and it's 24-18, and he looks like he's headed for a big afternoon. Westfall off to Hurd. Hurd picked up from Buffalo, and a trade for John Shoemate helped both clubs, and now Autry has committed a foul. He ran over Seals inside, and that's his second foul.
He didn't see him, and as he broke down the key, trying to set a pick, he was just running, clearing, so Erickson could come up from that side, and he just ran right over Seals.
Well, Autry's 6'10", 235. He can run over you. Here's Watts trying to penetrate. Dumps beautifully to Seals.
That's the thing. Phoenix is failing to cut off the penetrating. Slick Watts.
You believe this? Seals already has 12 points. His high in the series to date was 11, so he's already had his best point output in this series. Here's Erickson. Why not?
He can't find anybody to pass to. Take the 25-footer.
26-20 now. A minute 28 to go in the first quarter. Bantam. Autry goes up. Boy, Autry is tough on the boards. Off it comes to Van Arsdale. Intended for Westfall. Getting back is Bantam. Up to Brown, and both these teams are moving the ball. Brown again. Rebound by Hurd. He can't handle it. So Brown will get another crack as we now have a minute 8 left to go in the first quarter. Slick Watts trying to penetrate again. Batted away from behind by Westfall. Erickson. Westfall. Oh,
what a shot. Great body control.
He hit the upright, but I think he's all right. He just took a glancing blow. Here's Brown, and this game is really moving. With 48 seconds left in it, now it's 28-22 the Sonics. Both of these teams are wasting no time getting that ball up and down the floor. Here's her. Out to Van Arsdale. Erickson trying to force it inside, and whose ball is it? It's going to be Phoenix's basketball as Ricky Sobers, number 40, comes back into the Suns lineup. And Westfall is going to get a breather with 32 seconds left now in this first quarter. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Erickson out to Autry. Van Arsdale with 7 seconds on the shot clock. Erickson trying to follow. Batted away that time by Bantam. And Van Arsdale comes back to Erickson again. Erickson, an outstanding golfer, tennis player, just a good athlete. What a job he did in that last game with 31 points. Here's Sobers with Watts on him.
11 seconds on the shot clock.
There's Watts going after the steal. We have a foul coming up, and I believe it's going to go against Slick Watts. Great effort by the guy who was given the Citizenship Award by the National Basketball Association writers. Citizenship that well deserved. This guy understands, speaks with all good causes, around 300 of them during the course of the year, and a most popular player in Seattle.
Guy that see why he led the league in steals and also an assist. Quite an accomplishment.
He goes after the ball on the floor. At the line is Sobers. Sobers this year shooting 82% from the line. 6'3", 200-pound rookie. He was the number 2 first-round draft choice. They had first an excellent draft from Alvin Adams and then Rick Sobers. Not too often you have that kind of a year. Here's Seal. Seal's looking for points 14. Can't get him, and look at Autry. And that's going to end this first quarter of play. Well, we're going to take a look at that play that just really stunned everyone. The breakaway from Erickson to Westfall, as Westfall doesn't even bring the ball down. Look at this. Paul Westfall for 2. It's 28-23. The Sonics lead.
Basketball, when you watch the NBA, when you watch the NBA on CBS.
I definitely recommend a Datsun from the experience that I've had. Well, when I originally bought the pickup, I thought I'd be able to put about 50,000 miles on it, and then I was figuring on trading it off. But it's got 118,000 miles on it now. It's been absolutely the most durable vehicle I've ever owned. And I'll definitely buy another one if it ever wear out.
2 tough Datsun pickups, 7-foot stretch and 6-foot standard. No wonder Datsun's America's #1 selling small pickup. Datsun saves.
The NBA playoffs on CBS are sponsored by Datsun, America's #1 selling import for cars and trucks. Datsun saves. The NBA playoffs on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. A former mobster fears for his life. That story and more on 60 Minutes tonight at 7, 6 Central on CBS.
Announcing a super tire sale, the high-performance mobile radial tire. On sale now at special low prices at all participating mobile dealers.
You grew up wanting to be an All-American quarterback. Your kids will grow up wanting to be Pelé.
At Simms, you'll never see the word sale. Simms represents at off price the world's finest brand names in ladies' and men's clothing. At all times, you can buy men's current nationally advertised $160 vested suits with the label for $88. $20 designer shirts for $9.99. There's never a reason for a sale. At Simms, an educated consumer is our best customer.
Drugs were a part of their past, but now they've got something better. Reach out and support Aurora Concept.
Channel 2, New York.
Well, we go to quarter number 2 with the Sonics leading 28-23. It was just brought to our attention that Slick Watts, who did not score in this first quarter now, has been held scoreless through the last 5 quarters of play. Sonny, you were pointing out that the Sonics in this early going have been playing with 3 free agents in the lineup.
They certainly have. Slick Watts was a walk-on that Bob Hodkins brought here. And, of course, Zayd Abdul-Aziz was a free agent, lay down, and Willie Norwood. 3 free agents on the floor at one time here in the first quarter.
So the Sonics doing one thing they wanted to do. That's get the lead in the early going, and Watts now has been fouled by Sobers. Sonics taking that first quarter break with the advantage. Let's watch Watts now with Sobers on him.
You see how important it is that he has to penetrate, kind of picks it up, loses his balance there, and Sobers picks up the foul.
That's the first on Sobers, and we go back again. Trying to move in as Watts, and a foul inside. 3 seconds. 3 seconds called instead against the Sonics, and the Suns will inbound it. In the regular season of play, the Sonics, they 4-3 advantage. Now Sobers with Watts on him. What a battle they're going to have. Slick Watts on Sobers. Erickson still in the lineup. Brings it outside now to Van Arsdale with Fred Brown on him. Here's Erickson. And he hits the deck. Going to have a foul on Mike Bantam, who backed in to Erickson to release the ball. Erickson 6'5", a 10-year veteran out of UCLA. He went to the Suns in that trade for Connie Hawkins. And he's the kind of guy that comes off the bench. And, Sonny, it's interesting. Some people can come off the bench and play better than others, and he's one that does. He's instant offense.
Not only Erickson, but Fred Brown. They found out when he got hurt during the season, he was out for a little while. They started Watson, Herm Gilliam, and they did so well that they kept Brown coming off the bench. They won 8 straight games, and they stuck with that until I think Gilliam's a little banged up today.
28-24, the Sonics by 4. Fred Brown. Look at the move by Brown to Bantam, and rejected that time by Hurd, but a foul is coming up. A little acrobatic action that time by Fred Brown. We'll see a little of that from Brown and Westfall. They can do things with the ball.
They certainly are. The thing you like to see them, like the shot that he made without coming down on the break in the first quarter, to see them innovate shots. They innovate moves in the air because they have to.
Yeah, we're going to have a 20-second timeout, I believe, as Bantam, I believe, has something in his eye. I got to check over on the far side, see what it is. Trainer Frank Paterno is over there, and Bantam will have to...
I think it's a contact lens that slipped out, and he probably slipped off out of position, and he had to reset it.
Well, Bantam started the year with the Suns. And I think that the Sonics are very happy to have him playing for him. They picked him up in a straight cash deal. He's 6'9", a third-year man out of St. Joseph's. He was the number 1 draft choice for the Suns in '73. Well, the Sonics bump it up to a 29-24 lead. So Bantam able to hit both of them. The Sonics notoriously bad at the free throw line, getting both of them that time. Sobers with Watts on him. You can see some of the pushing inside. Van Arsdale on Brown. And rebound Autry. Autry goes up with it. He can't get it to drop, but a foul. Aziz has picked up the foul. I think on that play, Sonny, that the taped wrist of Van Arsdale hurt him.
Exactly right. You saw he had the reverse layup, but he couldn't control the ball with that bad left wrist. And that was the thing. They had a slump. The Suns had a slump, a mid-season slump. And a lot of it was because Van Arsdale went out. Autry was injured. But when they did, Ricky Sobers came in, got to play, and everything started happening. And now, the same thing with Fred Brown coming off the bench. Van Arsdale's coming off the bench and playing well.
Autry in this playoff series averaging just over 4 points a game. As it's now 30-25. The Sonics. Watts with Sobers on him. You can see Autry and Aziz pushing inside. Norwood. Willie Norwood, a KG veteran. He played for Bob Hopkins, the assistant for the Supersonics at Alcorn A&M. That's how they found out about him. As Van Arsdale. Van Arsdale, the only original Sun left on this Phoenix club. 32-27. Brown trying to get around Van Arsdale. Boy, he's quick, isn't he? Van Arsdale comes down with it. Off it comes to Sobers. Sobers, an excellent defensive player. Early in the year, he had some problems attitude-wise, but then he put it together and he took off from there. Erickson.
For a great fall-away jumper. I think they credit a lot of that with Al Bianchi. I heard them speaking of that, and I think he had a relationship with him. He could relate to him and said that here's a man that played the game and knows what it's like.
34-29, inside 10 minutes to go in this first half of play. Game moving right along. Both teams with the tempo picked up considerably. Sonics have got to win. If they do, it goes to Phoenix on Tuesday night. Erickson, Bantam on him. Can't get it. Autry tries to keep it alive. Bantam brings it off to Brown. Hitting the deck is Erickson. And a pass off of Fred Brown shoot top.
Boy, he had him open under the basket, and Brown came in. He was trying to bounce it to Norwood.
So we're going to have a stoppage of the clock at 9:31. There's Al Bianchi, the guy that Sonny Jurgensen was talking about. He started the year out as an assistant, or a coach rather, for the Virginia Squires.
I really find my Datsun extremely durable. I drive it everywhere. I literally live in the car to a degree. And 247,000 miles on that Datsun, and it just keeps going and going and going and refuses to quit going. That's a durable car.
They're put together to stay together for Datsun savings that just won't quit. All three Datsun V210s deliver 41 miles per gallon highway, 29 city. Datsun saves.
How do you spell relief?
When I get acid indigestion, I spell relief R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
For heartburn, R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids spells relief. In this test with Rolaids active ingredient, laboratory acid changes color to prove Rolaids consumes 47 times its weight in excess stomach acid. How do you spell relief?
For gas, I spell it R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids spells relief, fast relief.
When I say NAPA helps keep America moving, I mean just that. For over 50 years, Napa has been providing top-quality parts for almost everything that moves. So whether your vehicle purrs, butts, roars, sputters, clanks, howls, or clatters, over 5,000 Napa stores carry the parts to keep it moving. That's NAPA. We help keep America moving.
Well, this Friday, the NBA playoffs continue on CBS. On Friday night game, and boy, Sonny, the way this series and the way the playoffs have been going, that's going to be something to look forward to. Friday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, CBS Sports will be televising exciting NBA playoff action.
It's crunch time, huh?
No tomorrow, particularly today, for the Seattle Supersonics, who now with a 34-29 lead and 9.5 left in the first half, set up defensively. You just joined us earlier. Buffalo defeating the Boston Celtics 98-93. That series now 2-1 in favor of Boston, and there's a walking violation on Garhurst.
You wonder how much this Phoenix Suns offense is missing the passing ability of Alvin Adams now. That's what he does so well, relies on his quickness, and I'm sure they're missing it right now.
There's that penetration of Watts that makes him so effective. He dumps it off to Brown. Watts, Adams, whoa! There's Alvin Adams in the middle with the towel draped over his legs. You know he'd like to be back in there. What a competitor he is. Very smart basketball player. 36-29. Again, on that last time down the floor, Sonny, it was the penetration of Watts that got that offense rolling. There's Norwood. Willie Norwood to Watts. Aziz.
Boy, they're really moving the ball well now. Big steal by Norwood.
Well, they didn't like the developments of that last game. The Sonics winning 130-114 in the last outing. And right now they have a 38-29 lead. Silvers to Watts. The chase is on.
Well, he won't go the 6-quarter shutout.
Yep, that's right. As he breaks that long dry spell of not scoring in 5 consecutive quarters of play. Slick Watts on the breakaway, and it's a 40-29 lead. As this sellout crowd of better than 14,000 is excited about how the Seattle Supersonics have gotten underway.
You do most of your flying about 5 feet off the ground, a lot closer to the crops than to the clouds. But when those last acres are dusted and the sun drops away, then you know it's Miller time. Time to head for the best-tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer. Tastes too good to hurry through. But when it's time to relax, one beer stands clear, beer after beer. If you got the time, we got the beer.
A good electric pre-shave is very important to me, but I never had much choice until now. Menon's got a new one. Skin Bracer pre-electric. It really pops those hairs up so I can chop them off close. Feels good, smells good. I get a great electric shave. Then I top it off with my Skin Bracer aftershave. I love that cold slap in the face. Thanks. I needed that.
Well, there's the owner of the Seattle Supersonics, Sam Schulman, and his lovely wife, and he has to be happy, Sonny, right now.
He certainly does, with the way things are going now.
Sobers brings it down for the Suns, who trail 40-29 as the Sonics are putting it together here this afternoon. Westfall. Aziz and Bantam really doing a job on the defensive boards. They boxed all the way. We have Bantam down at the other end. He threw a shoe, so he isn't back at the other end of the floor yet. 4 men. This end of the floor for the Sonics. Now it comes to Norwood.
How do you avoid playing a zone here when you don't have anybody to play?
Here is Watts, and Watts is fouled as he moves inside. There's Bantam. He kicks the shoe. Couldn't get it back on, but Sonics still go to the line as they're going to be represented by Watts.
You see him again penetrating inside. And you see Autry, he faked Autry a little bit like he was going to deal the ball off again because that's what he does inside.
That was the third team foul against the Suns. And against Westfall, that is his first. Watts makes it 41-29. Watts, by the way, shoots only 49% from the line. He does everything else extremely well. Sobers with Watts on him. Blocked by Aziz. Sobers comes back with it, and I believe he's fouled. He is by Mike Bantam.
Good hustle.
Has come in there and picked up where Burleson left off.
I'll tell you, good hustle on Ricky Sobers' part to go back and get that ball.
Well, Bantam has committed his second foul. That is the third team foul. And bringing it in will be Curtis Perry. Off to Autry. 7:30 left in this first half. Perry. Sobers has to chase it down. You can see the Sonics have taken them a little bit out of their offense. They're not really putting it together right now. Westfall. Well, that is the best offense you can find right there.
Boy, that's a three-point play in the ABA, isn't it?
41-31. A 10-point lead now for the Sonics. Watts with Westfall. Out to Bantam. Back to Watts. Watts is very quick and active today. He's making things happen out there. Broken up by Westfall. Number 3 in the NBA in steal. What a move. Boy, he's going to bring it back now.
Great body control again. He shows you why he's such a great player.
He already has 12 points in this game. 41-33. Westfall, who got a breather in the first half, coming back now, trying to bring the Suns from behind. Aziz. You saw Westfall almost get it away from him. Rebound, Bantam. And Mike Bantam, where you're supposed to be, now has 6 points. 43-33, the lead again to 10 for the Sonics.
Getting good play from these on the offensive boards by Seattle.
There's Perry.
Bantam again with the rebound.
They're having to shoot outside a lot, Sonny. They're not getting their offense rolling, getting it inside. Here's Aziz with Autry on him. Watts. They're going to let him have that shot. And with the rebound as Autry brings it out to Westfall. I think that's the strategy, Sonny, to let him shoot them.
You can watch when they come down how much they drop back in on Watts, trying to keep him from penetrating as Erickson hits one from the baseline.
Keith Erickson makes it 43-35. Keith's had a real history of back trouble, and even this year had some problems with it. Aziz with Autry on him. In it goes to Bantam. Bantam very tough inside. And he's been fouled.
Good movement away from the ball then by Bantam coming in.